Yay, we're all here for Slot Ops, your fabulous ocean casino resort. Wanted to do some introductions. Typically, we go around the room. My name is Alex Netto. I'm a systems trainer with Konami. I've been at Konami almost 2 years now. This has got to be like 8th installation or 10th. We're just like, it's so busy. So what I would like, ideally, you could go around the room, just introduce yourself and then really quickly. Want to start with you, sir?
I'm Roy Morgan, Operations Ship Manager.
Okay, Roy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Joe Daigle, Operations Ship Manager.
Joe, you saw shipment.
Hi, Linda Osborne, jewelry, slot supervisor.
Nice, Linda, come on. What was it?
Leah.
Leah, nice to meet you.
My name is Nick, Slot Attendant Supervisor.
Excuse me, ship
manager.
I'm sorry. Good man. I'm sorry. You are an assistant ship manager.
Eddie.
Joanna, assistant.
Joanna, assistant manager,
Head Herschel, gaming officer.
gaming office. Fantastic.
Daisy Nimitz, slot shift manager.
What was it?
Shift manager.
Throw your name.
Yes.
Okay.
What they said.
Fantastic. I was gonna ask favorite restaurant, but we've just been staying and eating here. Any recommendations here, guys? One or two things you like on property? The Linguini by the Sea, the Amata. They're all good. Yeah, we've had the burger place, Sinners, something. Yeah.
The district has really good, they have a variety.
Yeah.
Really good, they give you really big portions.
I wanted the cookies with the ice cream in the middle or something, the homemade ice cream sandwich. Wanted to try that. Just some reminders, please participate, ask questions. You guys are all the ASMs and above, it seems like, that are here. So ask any question. If I don't know the answer, I'm gonna be writing them down and we'll get back to you like as soon as possible. And then, yeah, actively participate. And if you need to take a call, like something happens, just feel free to excuse yourself. It's being recorded, so you can always come back and just come back in. Don't worry about that. Just, if you have to do something, go ahead, feel free to do it and then come back. So our agenda, these are in front of you guys here. Feel free to write on these. We're going to go through everything the slot attendant does, the supervisor, the ship managers, you guys. I'm going to show you Sync 31, how you do your suspicious activity incident reports, MTLs if you need to do that. Do you guys do many MTLs or is it more just suspicious activity, like bill stuffing and stuff like that?
I had one Saturday night, false alarm. False alarm.
So we'll hop into second.
Thanks to balance.
Thanks to surveillance. Those guys and girls. So we'll hop into it. And then I'll show you Kinetic Dispatch, the demo on my phone, like I said, Ted, we're trying to get that up and running. I was talking with Terrence yesterday about that. He's aware. I'll just show you the demo of how theoretically it would work. You guys are using manual mode. That's where you guys, the shift supervisors, would assign calls to your slot attendants to have them and go put them in their queue so they can then go handle those calls. The ones that
You can assign it by zone.
you can set up that a person works in a certain zone or not. You're in a supervisor only sees calls for a certain zone, or an attendant only sees calls for a certain zone or not. You can manually select that when you log in, or you can do that through Synkros for that employee if he wants. But yeah, you can change that at any time. Like if somebody goes from zone 1 to zone 2, they can go and tap within the app on the menu and then say which zone they want to receive calls from.
And we can assign the exception code to go to those,
The exception code, like
Bill tonight's name, paper fill.
Right. So you'll see all of those, whatever you set up the alerts for. If you want to see like, bill validator jammed or whatever alert, and system order, you can set that up, assign it a priority. We have like 1 to 10, 1 being the highest priority, 10 being the least. And it can sit in the queue, and then you can set a timer where it'll actually increase the priority if you haven't decided yet. So call has gone like paper, out of paper for 30 minutes, might have started as 5 and then can go up to 4, 3, 2, 1. As time goes by, depending on how long you set that expired time, escalation time. So all of that is fully customizable and configurable. We were going to this class, we're going to show you like literally how it works after it's been set up.
Okay.
If there's a separate setup class that we should be having for that. I'm not, who's going to be in charge of I guess you are.
I guess I am.
I guess you are. I forget. I'm actually bad with names, so I'm not, I forget.
Joe.
Joe. Okay, Joe. Okay, so Joe, there will be some training on that, but probably in the class. But
I
we'll,
have one question.
sure, Daisy.
The way that we talked about that is, and let me know if I understood it correctly, we could ask the first time, like maybe the first, I'm just gonna say 5 minutes, it'll get assigned to the attendant.
Right.
If they don't pick it up in like within the next 5 minutes, it'll hit them again. And by the third time, it'll hit the supervisor. It'll escalate it that way, saying, hey, this person's been waiting for 15 minutes.
I believe how that actually works is it escalates if it hasn't been assigned yet. If it's in their queue, it assumes they are going to get to it. They themselves now have to escalate if they're stuck on another call. Or what you can do is see your slot attendance queues and see what's still in there and say, hey, and then you can go in and escalate it if they haven't gotten to it yet. But the auto escalation is for the manual queue, calls that you guys have not assigned yet, that have sat in the queue already for 30 minutes or whatnot, that you haven't sent off to slot attendant, or I'm not sure who's over the slot techs, but you know, you can have separate queues for your attendants and techs. Yes, sure.
So the, just kind of refer to like the current system and then again the system. So when a call goes through, it goes from the machine to straight to the responder. So, but in
Right.
the academy, the supervisors are going to get it, and we are going to.
There are 2 modes. There is an automatic mode, and that would automatically assign calls to whoever's available in a round robin system where the person that most recently did a call will now go to the back of the queue, and the person who hasn't had a call for the longest amount of time will be at the top and get the next call. Kind of system. And so you can either run it in automatic or manual. I just looked in your training instance and it was set in manual mode. So I'm not sure, Ted, do you know how you guys are gonna?
I'm gonna want to see, so I'm not sure, I'm a fan of the round robin either.
Right.
So I want to kind of see what the options are when we set it up,
Okay,
just to, you know,
fair. Yeah, because
I like automatic, but I'm based on what you said about round robin, I'm not a fan of that.
okay, yeah, that's how it works. It just kind of round the time.
Yeah.
Based on who had last received a call and who's gone the longest without having taken a call would like keeps going to the top of the queue, right? To get automatically assigned the next call.
Pick it up themselves.
You can have them assigned to all 4 zones and then they'll see all the calls if you want. Or you can say, no, we just want you to do this half of the floor and you guys just handle that half. So you don't have to walk across the entire casino to do, you know, a paper fill or voucher fill. Right. And you can customize and change it as you go. It's not set in stone. All the Synkros, one of the thing that I like the most about it is it's so configurable and customizable to whatever your needs are, however you guys want to run it, whatever works best for you. So then I was going to show you player history, how to issue FREEPLAY. You guys, assistant managers, also do comp, reprinting and play cards. Do you have another question? Oh, okay. And then the one thing that we may add to everyone's access is you have this form called floor graphics, which allows you to see your entire floor if you maintain it. And you use that to research lost or stolen vouchers, because you can right click on a slot machine there. If you don't have access to the slot maintenance form, and it'll bring up a micro report, which will show you the transactions on that slot machine, like the vouchers that were printed.
What is it called?
Floor graphics. We'll get into it later.
Currently, you just picture table games in there.
Yeah.
You're gonna convert the slots?
You can add slots to it. That's what it's kind of,
There's 3 tables on there.
yeah, in your training instance or whatever. Yeah, so I don't have the exact statistics, but I assume you guys have at least like 1,300 slot machines here, so 1840 okay.
Right now.
1840, okay, yeah, so those all have to be added to the form by bank. You can add it by bank, but it might take a couple hours to do that, and then you have to manage it as you move games around. But it's nice because you can do queries on it, so you can see visually what machines have jackpots, things like that. Or it's one way to access the micro reports for slots, which will give you like device error messages, device transaction history with bill, so you can see bills in, bills out for things like disputes or whatnot.
Question. Going back to the bread pick and the slot machine.
Yeah.
Go to the slot machine, what information does it give you? When you looking for a ticket?
So it'll tell you the amounts and the last 4 of the voucher validation.
Will it tell you if it's cash or not?
No, you would have to then put it into another form that I was going to show you,
Okay.
or voucher search. And if you can't find it in voucher search, that means it's been redeemed, and then you pull the voucher redemption report.
Voucher search and attendance pays and fills?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And so the reason why you would have to get into the slot maintenance is you would then need to get the exact amount of that voucher to pull it up through voucher search. Because if you don't have the exact amount of the voucher to the penny, it's not going to find that. But that's why the slot maintenance form would be nice to have for your assistant shift managers or for graphics. Because it looks like right now it's set for just the director of slots to have access, and for just one person to have access to that form may not be ideal. Okay.
And
Okay.
you're talking about slot maintenance on their asset management, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah,
Because-
they'll have that.
That's the other way to get to those micro reports, to pull up that device transaction history with bill micro report. It'll show you the jackpots, it'll show you that it was put in drop mode, all those types of transactions, $100 in, $20 in, the vouchers out, even the occasional credits on the machine, like a win for $45, it'll show that on there. It doesn't show every spin though, but it does show the major events. Oh, no. Yeah.
That's one of the things when I was showing how to use it. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes it'll combine, like if they
Yeah.
play 2 hands of 500, it doesn't break it down,
Right,
but it will combine them to like 2 or 3 of them.
right.
Is there anywhere in the Synkros where it'll show you how many handle pulls? Because that's the only thing I haven't seen.
Handle pulls,
Handle pulls?
like literal games played. You can see their total coin in
Yeah.
on player history, but not like every single handle pull per se. But you'll see the aggregate of all their handle pulls as it says on player history, it says cash in, but for slot machines, when you're looking at that, that's the actual coin in. And then if you're looking at a table rating, that would be the actual cash buy-in. And that's on the player history form that we'll get to a little bit later. So the first thing that I wanted to go over with you guys was Sync 31, which is, we're said, hey, how do you navigate Sync 31? Gentlemen in the back, we have a sign-in sheet for you so you get credit. Get this over. I don't know if your laptop's in that.
I actually, this kind of hanging out.
Okay. Oh, okay, no problem. I don't know if you need to sign in then,
All
but
right.
I just didn't know if you were part of the slots team.
Always.
It used to be, we defected, oh man. So if everybody can see my screen, this is what it'll look like when you've logged into Sync 31. It's a URL, it's a website. So you guys will pull up your browser. Ideally, this page will be bookmarked for you. You'll use this for your MTLs and suspicious activity reports. NIL is negotiable instrument log. That's for cashing checks. I don't know if you guys handle check cashing and slots, so you won't be using this side. The main thing probably be using will be suspicious activity reports. And then if you have to file an MTL, you'll also be able to do that here. This is our home page. If you ever want to get back to the home page, you can just click on the Sync 31 icon in the upper left-hand corner. You guys just basically have access to forms. It showed one report, which was the book patron report, which is sports betting. I'm not sure if you'll use it though, but you have access to it. Sports. Yeah, and then patron. If you want to put a note on a patron, you can do that through here as well instead of Synkros. You can access the patron there. We have the bell. This is for your notifications. If you had notifications for any. It's not quite set up on your desktop yet. I tried to access it and set an encryption key, so we have to do something more. Yes. Yeah, and then this is being recorded, so you guys will have the recording, but if you want to take a picture, sure. This is not proprietary.
You said you can set alerts on this too?
It auto alerts when your MTL or your SAI has been filed to let you know, hey, you filed this MTL, or it turned to a CTR, hasn't been filed by actual compliance yet. And so you can kind of see your MTL and the history of it through the notifications on the right-hand side here, if you had any. So in order, like I said here, we have suspicious activity. You've got the icon. In order to create a suspicious activity report, you just have to click on the reported button in the center of the screen. Everybody see that? And it also took us to the forms. I could have gotten here just by clicking on the forms button as well. That was just a shortcut over. And we've got SAI highlighted. That's suspicious activity incident report. So this is where you would go to file that report for bill stuffing or anything suspicious. Somebody hands a ticket, a $3,000 ticket to his friend to go cash because he doesn't want to go over the $10,000 limit. Those sorts of things. So if you see that on the floor and you need to report that, you come here to do that. What you'll do is you'll just hit the plus button over here on the right-hand side of the screen. Now it's going to come up with patron lookup. So this is where you can go and find any patron that's in your system. If they're not in your system though, you don't know who that guest is, you can just go to the right-hand side and click. So now we have add, and you'll notice there's an unknown patron toggle. So just click that toggle. It blocks out the name, so you can still file a report that's not necessarily attached to a patron because you didn't know who that patron was. You just know they had a green shirt, a red shirt on, said Konami, they were kind of handsome and charismatic. All of those notes you can put in the report. And how you do that, if you'll notice, we still have these other descriptors. We'll just say mail. We don't know the address. You'll just want to put your actual casino address here because usually it requires an address on this thing. So then you would say work, and I'm not sure, what's the address here at Ocean? Is it 500 Boardwalk? What's the zip code? 08401. New Jersey. And then you could do, okay, Caucasian, hair color, brown, build, medium, guess I'm the medium. 195. So Synkros, you can't put it, you have to record the height in inches. So 6 feet, 72 inches. If you're a little taller, do that. Other characteristics. Seems nice. And then you would just hit the add button here.
So you're saying this report is going to be on our, we'll be able to access it, we have to search for it every time we do it, or is there going to be an app for it on it?
It'll come up and it'll be here.
It'll be in
Like,
Synkros,
not in Synkros, in Sync 31.
but we'll have it on our computer when we need it. We don't have to search for it, right?
You'll have to go into Sync 31 to find this. It won't attach it to their account in Synkros, but when you log in, it'll follow you. Your suspicious activity reports will be still here for you. And so then now you would say, what's the reason? For you guys, it may be slot machine bill stuffing. You could put multiple reasons if you want. You can just keep searching. But this is probably the more common one. Date and time of the incident, location of the incident. If you want to put the asset number, you can go ahead and do that. I think you had an asset number in your training instance. It was like 70028. Department. Yeah. Okay. I guess we're Konami support. And then you would put the amount or estimated amount, right? Okay. Maybe it looked like it was $4,000. And then the details is where you want to get specific with gentleman came up, put in the bills, you know, looked left and right, then started stuffing or whatnot. As many details as you can, put them here. Looked suspicious. Oh, it even autofills. That's nice. And then if you wanted to attach a file to it, if you had a photo or whatnot, you could as well. If you want to get that from surveillance, but that may be a little too much. And then you hit the save button. You'll notice the message down here in the lower left-hand corner, success. If I hover my mouse over it, it'll freeze that message if you need more time to read it, which is nice, but it's success, you know it, you're good. So unfreeze, boom. And now you'll see this here when you go to your SAIs. It'll show you the ones you've done the last 30 days. And so you can see all of your suspicious activity incidents that you've filed. And then it'll get then sent on to your compliance department for them to go through and handle all of those. Yeah, they should automatically see it. You don't have to do anything except just make this. Yeah, and it's the same for the MTLs and NILs as well. This shows you the MTLs, NILs for each day. You'll notice the pending review are for yesterday. So all of today's will be inactive. So you would just click on today's MTL because NIL is for checks, negotiable instrument log. So you'll only be doing MTLs, which is the multiple transaction log. So you would click there. If you need to manually create one, Synkros will, like if a player's carded in and they put in $3,000 and that's your alert limit, it will show up here and you can then file if you want for them. So you can come in here and look and see if a patron's over 10,000 for that CTR. It'll automatically be in here if they're carded in and playing. It will send those transactions to Sync 31 and can pull them automatically for you. So you just have to come here and look at the end of the day and see if you need to file any MTLs or not. They'll just show up here. You'll see one for all of your uncarded play gets lumped together into a single rating. So your uncarded play might be 150,000 or 500,000, depending on how busy it is. And those, it'll show the individual ratings. But so if you wanted to do that, you could go in there and look for a specific refuse name if you're aware, and then file that one. If you got information on that person, you could still do that if you if you were aware and able to, and then went over to that asset to check it. But here, much like the specific activity report, if you want to create an MTL separately, you could do that by just hitting the plus button here. If you saw a person, they should be in the unknown patron bin, but you could just go ahead and create one yourself if you wanted to, if you didn't want to find them in the unknown uncarded patron. It's the same thing, brings up our patron lookup. You can then look up a patron. Is everybody aware in Synkros, when you go to look up a patron, you have to spell their name perfectly, exactly, correctly as it is in Synkros. If not, it won't return a result. So what you can do to get around that is you can use the %, Shift 5 on your keyboard, and it'll then fill in the rest of that result and perform a search for you, if you will. So my name is Alex, but my name in the system is Alexander because that's my government issued name. But if you want to say, okay, I think it's Alex, but I don't know if he goes by Alexander, you type ALEX and hit the %, and now it will search for all patrons whose name starts with Alex. I guess there are none. Let's try AL in this case. And we see we have Aldred Batman and Alpha Norwegian. So it found all the results whose first 2 letters start with A in that name. So the % will save you, and that's how it works in Synkros as well. When you're looking up patrons, what I'll typically do is type in the first 3 letters of their name, first 3 letters of their last name, and put a % on both. And it'll either give me that patron or 2 or 3 results will pop up, and I can choose from those 2 or 3 which one I actually want to select. So in this case, we chose Alpha Norwegian. He's our person. And now we can go ahead and create an MTL for him. So transaction type again. Maybe it was currency in, not, oh, this currency exchange. We'll just say it was a cancel credit for $4,000. Device, you can go ahead and then put in your asset number. Transaction amount, this one will be 4,500. You can assign multiple people to an MTL. If there were 2 people together and you thought maybe they were kind of like passing money back and forth, you can attach that second person to that MTL through the assign multiple persons dropdown. So are they an agent? Agent is more Australia. I don't know if we have those here in the US or if you guys have those where maybe like a high limit player can just have a runner for them or something, like kind of thing. Okay, yeah. So that might be, you could just select agent in that case if you wanted to, or multiple persons. Again, you put the comments, just a huge CC, and hit the add button. This is taking a little while. Success.
That's into compliance too, right?
Correct. Yeah, you're good. All you need to do are record the transactions, and then they handle the rest. It'll show up on their reporting to look at. You tell me. I don't know how. Okay, this is supervisors and above. Okay, so I guess I'll train this later next time because you guys wanted us to dismiss the slot attendance first. Okay. Okay, just attendant pays the bills. And then, all right. My bad. All right, can we show them KONETIC first, or should we show them KONETIC? Is that okay? Okay. Okay, any questions on Sync 31 and how it works? It's pretty simple. Yeah, Daisy? Yeah, because usually it's people cashing out chips and things like that. You guys, primarily, I think we'll be doing the suspicious activity reports. Right. Okay, sure. You can do that here, but you don't have, so you would go to patron. So let's look up our patron. Let's look up Alpha. That's the other thing you might use it for. We check the death master list and the 10. So what you do is you bring up your patron and then you see the 10 DML button. You just click on that and it will run that 10 check and death master list check for you. I don't know. I just know what this does.
I mean, so I don't know what the future plan is for right now.
But initially NCC. Okay.
This is just for the suspicious activity reports.
Right. But this does have the functionality to do the 10 check. I just don't know.
Okay.
You have to buy them, like you can have 4,000 a month or whatever it is and then get that set up. But I guess you're going to use your current system for the time being. So if you do switch over down the road, you would go to patron, you would look up your patron, and then you would hit the 10 DML button. You could also, if you wanted to, add notes to a patron from here instead of going into Synkros. As is currently set up, you would first find your patron, and then this shows the address. Well, I guess you cannot add notes through here. Usually you can. Hold on, that's their address though. Okay, so this then, if and when you get 10 check or DML set up, you would do it from the patron. But if you wanted to see a picture, it will take that picture from Synkros and put it here. So you should be able to see a photo of the guest if you wanted to. If you didn't want to have to go into Synkros to do that, you could do that from here as well. Any other questions? You could change a person's address through Patron, but typically you'd use Synkros to do that. Again, like I hit the Sync 31, it took us to our main thing. You can see today's MTLs there. You could then click the suspicious activity button to report, and then you would have your notifications on your MTLs and suspicious activities that you put into the system. Yeah. Apparently.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really easy. How they change it.
But they're gonna show. Like, where we're gonna go and see the information, right, instead of featuring. Guessing that, because that was the question, right, is it, where we're gonna be verifying the information.
NCC, so.
Okay. Fantastic. Next, I'm going to jump into the meeting and then show you guys. Let me see here. I'm going to unshare this one. And then ideally, you'll be able to see it from here. Let's see here, share. Okay, you guys can see that, right? So basically, I guess I can even go out of that. Well, that's cool. So do you guys see the K for KONETIC app? Everybody see that? So this will be on your iPhone, your mobile device. To get into the app, you just, like using any other app, touch the icon. It'll bring you in. Let me move that back up there. I wonder if I could just, there we go. So for this one, I'm going to do admin. So she'll get to kind of see how the hamburger is made, if you will. So you would just type in your username. It will be the same as your Synkros login. So whatever your Synkros login, whatever your Azure login, I believe it's all the same here. It'll be the same to log into the app. Once you're in the app, okay. In this case, you guys will only have the attendant pays and the dispatch. Attendant pays would be where you could go that'll list all of your jackpots and cancel credits. Dispatch has all of the calls like paper jam, fill, main door open, those things. So the dispatch tells you where you would need to go. Attendant pays, or if you're only doing jackpots, you'll only see the jackpots there. So we can go through dispatch first. You would hit that. You'll get this menu pop up. It says that you're currently off shift, so you'll want to hit the start shift button so that you can start receiving calls from your shift managers. In this case, you're asking about the zones. The first thing it does is ask you which zones do you want to work. So in this case, we have them all selected, but depending on you guys, you can just check two of them. Maybe I just want north and south, or north and, that doesn't make it, maybe north and east, because those two are adjacent. Yes? Sure. They can. You will probably tell them, hey, select these zones, or hey,
We'll probably have the whole format to be enough.
yeah.
We as supervisors just assign that, so they don't have to go through all this to say you assign it. Just when they open up their application, it's already assigned to them. The whole floor.
Right, the whole floor. Yeah, it defaults to the whole floor.
Okay.
In Synkros, you can have defaults, they can just try and figure it out.
Good.
Like with me, it defaults to all being checked.
Okay.
Because in our demo instance, you can go into Synkros and check literally which zones you want the employees assigned to. So when you configure it, Joe, you'll have to assign the employees to the zones as you get new slot attendants. Right. But when they log in, they'll see the zones they have access to. They should all be selected, and then they would unselect them, unfortunately, or what. But you can go in as a supervisor and change the zones. If they did deselect a zone, you can go in and like say, nope, you actually have them all.
They can do that at their, they have access to do that?
Supervisors do, yeah.
Okay, not.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, gotcha.
And so like theoretically, you can change to say, all right, I want you three working north and east, and then you three working south and west. And you can go in and edit each person's zone access. So they would just, all they would have to do is then just hit the save button in the lower right-hand corner. You would just hit save, and now you're good to receive your calls. So here, we're a slot attendant in this particular case. If you were a supervisor, you would see the roles as well. I'll try to log in to get those to pop up. The roles tab is where you would go to assign the actual calls. In this case, if I forget your name, sorry. Aaliyah, if I'm Aaliyah, this is what I would see as a slot attendant. I would see my working queue, which would mean calls that I'm currently working on. Pending are the 10 calls that one of the shift managers has assigned to me. So Aaliyah has 10 calls that she's been assigned that she has to work through. And then the history tab would be the calls completed. So you can set her to be working on a call, but in this particular case, the calls are assigned and now she selects which one she wants to take to work on from the calls that you assigned, because you assigned her 10 calls. So she can come in here and say, oh, I'm right next to this much asset number 5,000. Let me go do that jackpot, or you guys, it's a priority 1. You'll notice these are listed 1 through 6, 6 being a lower
Are
priority.
they have to be assigned that, or doesn't that just pop up automatically? We can actually, the supervisor has to monitor that all the time and say, oh, I'm gonna send this here, here.
As they come in, yeah, oh, in manual mode. Otherwise, it's automatic and it automatically just shoots the calls out.
Okay, that's what we want automatic. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's round robin.
It's round robin.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I mean, do it. It's still a better preference than,
yeah.
we're not gonna, nobody's gonna be.
Nobody has the time to
Yeah,
manage to do. Some companies just have a single dispatch person that's literally like setting up these calls.
It's like 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know. Everybody, everybody's needs are different, okay? I'm not here to judge you and your needs. I'm just here to say what you can do. So in this case, if it's automatic, like the call that it assigns automatically goes for working for Aaliyah, it'll just show up as working, and then let's just assume,
In the round robin format,
yes,
even if it's not assigned, say you're next up,
yes,
can somebody else still get it?
it should go to me unless I'm on
It's,
break.
you're only gonna see your next assignment, you're not gonna see all of the others.
No,
Yeah,
I
everybody
won't
can
see
see it, and then whoever's free can take it.
only, no. There, you can, there's a workaround for that, where you create like a supervisor ghost role, so the slot attendants can have that role as well, and then they can assign it themselves. So there's a workaround that other properties use, so that the slot attendants can manage the queue themselves. And so that they are kind of like their own supervisor, if you will, so that they can just then see the entire queue of available calls and just assign to themselves what they want to take.
So is that sort of similar to the manual mode?
It is manual, but they're their own supervisor.
Yeah, right.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so
So
maybe
that's the workaround for that, so that you guys don't have to actively manage, but your role is still above that ghost role, if you will, so that they can assign their own calls, so that it can get escalated up to you still, or you can then reassign if you want, if you need to.
Once they card the gate, they come off the,
It comes off the queue once they take the call. There's like a queue of unassigned calls, and it goes into the individual employees.
and then it'll do the call.
If they don't do the call?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, then that's a problem. You can check that, you can check the individual employees through the roles tab and see how long they've been on that call. You can run reports for them as well. But you can go through and look and say like, oh, the floor's busy. Okay, let me see what calls each person is on.
So I mean, it's not, doesn't notify them that they've taken call when they put their card into the slot.
No, they have to do it through the app. Not like party in and not. You can set it up to clear a call by, there's a terminating transaction feature where like for a jackpot, if like, let's say she takes the call and she goes and does it and then does an update here, on a jackpot, it will just drop off because we made it a terminating call within Synkros. So once the jackpot's complete, it'll drop off. She doesn't have to then go through into the app to hit all the processing steps here. What's that?
only on a jackpot.
There are a few trends, not all of them, but like half of them, like a door closed. If you close the door back, you don't have to go in the area.
It'll drop off.
It'll drop off. If you assign it, if you set it to be a terminating transaction, which is part of the call configuration of the setup, you can do that so that once you've actually done the call, it'll drop off here because you physically perform the action needed
Okay.
to do the call.
Like, for example, change that. If they turn it off, it'll terminate it.
Right, exactly.
Okay, got you.
So in this case, when we clicked on that, if you're manually assigning, you go in and you can, in like, let's say Alicia's case, if we, or is it Aaliyah, sorry. Aaliyah's case, if you create that ghost role, so you want your slot attendants managing the queue themselves and just taking calls, then she would assign herself Here, the big button, oops, I hit the meal code button. That's another cool feature though. You can actually electronically put in meal codes and then run your reporting and whatnot by hitting the meal code button.
Is that an option that we set up initially,
No, it's just on.
meal coded?
Yeah, I'll show you that now. Like if you just want to do that here, we have the asset number grayed out. And the nice thing about this is if I start typing the actual thing that I'm doing, like paper, it'll bring up all the codes that have paper in the name, like add paper. So I don't need to remember all the mail codes. So I could hit add paper, hit the send button, and now that meal code has been saved and attached to that machine. So when you run your meal code reporting, you can see all the machines that need paper or whatever, however you want to like look at it, or have bill validator problems. You can then run advanced reporting for things like that. As far as slot maintenance.
If I might,
Sure.
we're not opening up with the meal codes yet, so I don't want everybody to get, we're still gonna use the meal book. That will be a feature that might be added later, once we get familiar with the system. Alright, so like, what we plan on, and it has to get approved by the division as well. So it's not something that we can just say, hey, we're using the meal code, we have to get the division to sign off on it. So we'll worry, it'll still be the same, like, I don't want everybody to get overwhelmed, like, oh, everything's changing all at once.
Right.
How many different codes are there?
How many different what codes?
Codes.
Like,
Codes.
at least a
Maybe
hundred,
more.
like 100 in training instance, so it's sitting up somewhere around. There's like 10 for bill validator, 15 for, go ahead.
Like, let's say you pay a jackpot, you show the machine the paper, you fill it up, and then you will add that, so they will.
Whatever you say.
In some jurisdictions, you don't have to, they don't have meal books.
So you support
This will actually will replace the paper meal. In a
Good. That's just an electronic. Yeah, it's a feature that's there that you're not currently using. I just wanted to show it to you really quickly. Assign to self. This button here in the center, that's how you would actually assign the ticket to yourself. And in this case, now it took me over to that working tab. This is how it's going to look for your people working on the actual calls. You'll notice in route is checked. So in the system, you can set up how long a person has to go to get to that machine, response time they call it. Once you get there, you hit the processing button in the center. I can also click on the area above where the patron's name is, and then it'll take me kind of to a more detailed description of that call. And I simply clicked above that center processing thing. So in this case, we see this is Candace, Aria, McCrae. It says it's a jackpot for $500. If you wanted to process at the JDU, you would hit this toggle down here. And then you would only do the acknowledge step. If you tried to then, you can process an entire jackpot through the mobile app. You can do the tax form, so long as it's set up to your printers and whatnot, it currently pulls things. But yes,
Before we go any further, you said how you just toggle to the JDU available.
right.
Can you let us know exactly how that works? So that would be going to a quick check.
A quick jackpot?
It's
It's
an
a
NRT.
The NRT machine, correct.
Is it just the paperwork that's getting assigned? Because what happens to the money? That's what I'm concerned about.
The money. So what I was told by our implementation specialist is that if you do anything beyond hitting the acknowledge button, you won't be able to get the money from the NRT machine. If you get the signature from the guest and do the tax form and complete in Synkros, you'll have to then go to the cage for the money when using the mobile app. Current is what I was told. Now, I'm not sure if that
It's
is.
all the stuff that we really wanted to test in our lab. Is
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually works.
Yeah.
still the best.
Yeah. So in this case, if you run through all of the steps, like in Synkros, we have what's known as the wrap process. Jackpot hits. CMS probably has something similar. Jackpot sits, the machine locks up. We call that the request phase, R. And next is acknowledging, which is you going to the machine, looking at it, seeing that it's good. You would card in and you'd hit card in, you get to the employee menu and then you would hit the acknowledge button there. And so then after that, you would have to get their ID typically or whatever documents you need. You go back to your slot workstation or wherever your NRT machine is and then process the paperwork. Or I'm not sure how it works currently. Sometimes like you process in Synkros and then you go to the money dispenser and then get the money out after you've done all the paperwork in Synkros. It just varies from machine to machine to
So
machine
that's the disconnect that we have right now.
with that.
Can you process that without even going to a jackpot and verifying it at the machine?
Oh, can you step through the entire process without even having seen it at all?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like.
that's like it.
Right. So you want the,
That's why we really wanted to test it, because the regulators are never gonna.
allow that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And we have to write that into our internal controls.
Right. I see your dilemma.
So that's why we wanted to really get.
Yeah, get it up and running.
Because if that's possible, that's not going to be possible.
Right. So you don't want them to be able to acknowledge through the app. You want them to be forced to card in.
But yeah, actually,
Let me check on it. Let me write that down for you.
yeah, I thought that will only allow you to process, and once it determines that you toggle the goods.
Are you actually, that might be a setting. I just know for our demo, I can skip through the entire process. So, but let me verify if that's how it works in reality or not. Yes.
It's not formatted the same.
But we can edit all of your slips. So Terrence needs to go in there and then change that to your liking. If it's not currently how you want it to appear, how they're printing in your test instance, all of your slips can be edited.
Well, they have.
Yeah.
Edit.
Oh. KONETIC does a default slip. It doesn't use the Synkros ones, is what they told me. Gotcha.
An email that the have are not compatible with that. So that would be a whole separate thing. But the one that's down on the left, the laser jets aren't compatible, but it needs to be able to.
So that's why I stopped working in the lab.
Yeah, and that's what for printing. Because the air print, he said the printer would need to be compatible with air print. The phone can connect by Bluetooth, and the slot that printer does not have that capability. I'm pretty sure they're all the same as laser jets, so I can ask Joe Yost about it, but it sounds like it's not something that can easily be done if the printers can't connect to it. So I can ask them to keep looking at it, but it's not something that's going to be easily done, I don't think, if the printer can't do it.
Yeah, our solution engineer said that because they can't print, they can't actually most likely process the entire jackpot in the KONETIC app. Yeah.
Information, and then when they get to the terminal, it's already done at that point, and they can just print it.
Theoretically, if you go into the patron info, then it should update that jackpot with that person. Like if you wanted to then add a social security number in here or change patron, you can change patron.
So you can do all that stuff, Kinetic and automatically go right to Synkros.
It should.
Walk up to the FJP station, all that stuff will be changed in the corrected information.
Right. So long as you don't print anything and just did the acknowledge, or maybe you don't even want them to acknowledge on the app because then they might not physically be at the machine. And you want the acknowledgement to happen through the card in. No, self-pay, they literally, they'll get a pop-up message. They have 30 seconds to put in their PIN. they put in their PIN for the first time for the day or any particular session. And then it'll credit to the meter. And then the next time it'll just ask them, do they want to credit to the meter or not? And they'll just say yes, and they'll just keep going straight to the meter. No, you can, it depends. You could set it to save their PIN or not. Okay, or in your case, it'll be set to, and they have 30 seconds to do it. Yeah. Basically, that's them. If they want to actually, just credit a state to the meter, there is no confirm or decline that it says, yeah, yeah. Or to,
It says confirm.
oh, so confirm meaning send it to the meter. Gotcha, yes. Gotcha. I can write that one down.
It sounds like as long as the player's information is correct on their. I thought they can go to the picture.
Yeah, she's talking about this batch.
No, so, no, I was like trying to go over the steps, so like either they assign it to themselves or we assign it to them. Then there's gonna be the button to be processed. Then after the process, we get some of the information. It will give us the information of the jackpot, which is what we have in here, but we're not gonna be reading acknowledged because we have to be at the machine to get acknowledged.
Yes.
And then but we can do the patron information and then we will go to the computer, check the NCBC, and then we can use the quick check.
Correct.
Will that be the process? So if they use, Yes,
I'm not even sure that you have to hit process at this point. What you can do is patron info to update everything. Process is if you're actually processing the jackpot, right, correct?
Right, in the app. If you were
Yeah.
to, once you hit acknowledge, then you would go to, then process button would become available. Like if I hit acknowledge, it will then ask for the handrail position. You put in bonus or 777, whatever it would be. That process is for the call itself in Kinetic. It's not unique to a jackpot. It could be for paper out or those sort of things. So in that, if we go back to that, because I actually started doing the jackpot, the process was checked. But if it were a paper out or bill jam or whatever that caused you to go there, once you got to the machine, you would hit the process button and it would change from the big blue icon to the little green one. And so theoretically for a non-jackpot call, when you get to the machine, like once you take the call, it's en route. This was blue, you would hit it once you get there, signifying that you're processing it. And then once you fixed it or completed the call, you would hit the completed button and that would shrink. And then the call would be completed and drop off the dispatch list. On the game itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is-
I want to make sure that if they can complete it on the Kinetic.
No, it
not
doesn't.
setting the
No,
jackpot.
they're separate. It, like Synkros can talk to Kinetic, but like Kinetic can't talk to the slot machine, if you will.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. Verify.
start the process, like if
Right.
you say in route and processing.
Right. Yes.
That they're actually working on that.
Right, that they're at the location working on the call.
So, and then they also start the game, hit verify.
Right.
Okay, so they have to.
Per your procedures, yeah. And then, once that call is done, okay, I'm clicking with my mouse on it instead of on my phone. Great, let me just say process. in this case, if you use this, you could get signatures that you needed to get. Which when it all works, it's great. Fantastic. Print, and then it would send it to the printer. Ideally, that'll be connected and hooked up. But again, we need to work it out and see how it actually works and whether it'll work with your regulations and with your property. I'm gonna hit cancel. Jackpot slip printed. Yay. The print stage? Yeah, because it's not printing to a printer.
Yes.
And so you can't go beyond that. So then at the bottom, you would hit payment details and you would mark it as paid so you can complete that column, get it to drop off. At least drop off your dispatch. Whether you had actually paid it or not. It could if you set it up. If you set it up to complete the pay
I
step.
thought we set it up.
Yeah, then it'll drop off. And now we notice the queue is empty. Let me just show you a non-jackpot call. So we have a slot paper out as a 5. You can set the colors, whatever you want them to. And then, so I'm hitting slot paper out here. If you were on a call and you needed to escalate, you could do that as well. And it would escalate to the assistant shift manager or slot supervisors. Whichever, you set the hierarchy. If slot supervisors are going to be doing calls or not, or if they're going to have a mobile app, it could escalate and go into their queue if you want to do that. In this case, I'll hit assign to self. Once assigned, if, let's say the paper wasn't out or was false alarm or something, you could also reject a call by sliding to the, like swiping left, if you will. And then that will like cancel that call. So if you ever got a situation where, okay, we just need to cancel the call, it's been handled and whatnot, you could reject that way and it'll drop out of the queue. In this case, you notice just the processing is there and available. So I just hit the processing check mark. And now it allows me to then select completed once I've completed it. If it is a transaction that doesn't auto terminate, that you haven't configured that way, then they will have to come in here. But if they do want to escalate once they're working the call and they've realized like, oh, I need help, they could then tap up above the en route processing completed area, just tapped right above that. And the escalate button is there for them to hit to escalate if they need to. And you would just hit that escalate button. And that will then send the call to the next.
Basically, this, it doesn't auto terminate.
Yes.
A lot of things gets the market.
Right.
Is there a timeout limit or we're not gonna go in there and look at it, it's gonna be 80,000 entries.
We gotta go through clear.
That's clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other employees do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Once it's assigned, they can.
Yeah, it'll be in their queue. That's why it's important, very important that employees complete their transactions as they're going through. Yeah, and like they'll need to then go off shift. And before they do that, make sure to check your working queue that there's nothing still in the working queue.
They have 8 pending. So does it go to the next person or you have to manually assign those calls to the other person?
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta go.
Gotta get everybody going, so it's not gonna matter.
It's gonna go.
We're gonna stop and take this to the floor so that it
It doesn't
doesn't,
matter.
so one person could be,
Um,
so that everybody.
Right.
Because if not, that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna have like 5 things on their queue. And if they forget, they're gonna go and break and the guest is gonna be sitting there waiting.
Right.
Okay, let me get some clarification. You have a jackpot, everything's okay on the iPod.
Right.
All the information's correct on the gas.
Yeah.
You can go to the quick jack with the amount and the asset number and processing.
Yes. because we use it now.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
terminal's there.
So, no, but I mean, like, so they will have to check the stuff in here and then use the computer and then use the picture.
Yes, just like they do now. Right? So as long as the information's correct in there, you go to the quick check, you get the NCC, check it, say it's okay, then they can use the quick check. As long as the information's correct on there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they wouldn't even have to log into the terminal. They're using the quick check.
Yes,
They would just
They
use
would
the
log on to
NCC. Nope.
NCC, yeah.
No, they would need to log into the
yeah,
Synkros.
Synkros, no, cool, this process, and that's correct, right?
I hope. I need to see it. I need to see it in the lab. You tell me. You tell me. Tell me.
So, yeah, so
Every jackpot JDU is a little different. Yeah.
Jackpot hits. Side attendant goes to the machine. Acknowledge it. Just check their iPad. All the information is correct on the player. See the player's ID?
Yeah.
It's all on there.
Very
Now you go
verified.
to the quick check.
Yeah.
Go to the NCC. Put the asset number in, the jackpot
the
amount.
asset allocation and just process it like we normally do.
Asset and jackpot.
You're always gonna need asset and amount.
Okay.
Asset and amount.
Asset and amount, that's a great check.
And that'll be displayed on
Yeah,
there.
so Aaliyah and Linda, that's gonna be an extra step for you guys, and make sure you record that jackpot amount. Because you always do that when you go to the.
It'll be on your iPad then. Yeah.
It should
I'm
be
still
there.
stuck on the stuff because what if the player is playing, it's not in the code, like playing on the floor?
They can't do self-pay on the floor.
I know, but like, how are we gonna do it on the?
They won't be able
You-
to
you-
play that on the floor,
No.
or will.
Self-pay doesn't work on the computer.
It's not gonna come through on your sync.
Right.
Yeah, self-pay's not gonna come through on there, Aaliyah.
Hold up, I
So
think
we'll see that on
what
the-
Alika is trying to say is
What?
they don't use self-pay, but they still use the accrual where it goes into their W-2.
Gotcha.
And that's something that we have to check once IT finishes with DocuSign.
Yeah, we're not sure how this
We're
will work
working
yet.
on that.
Yeah.
So the way that Synkros is designed, they wouldn't be able to use that one. But IT is trying, it would just be a hand pay on Synkros, and they would print it out, but IT is working on something where it can attach it, we haven't seen that part.
Yeah, that.
That makes sense.
You guys have any other questions for jackpots? No?
But we always have to, make sure we record the asset and jackpot amount.
Jackpot amount, you got, you can,
And it should be on the.
and if you.
It'll be on the
Quick
kinetic,
check,
yeah.
you confirm At the game, it's the correct player, because you can't change with the quick check.
At the time of carding the game, you have to confirm their ID,
You
information.
know how to, you can
Asset
change it,
jackpot amount.
you'll be able to change it right on your iPod.
Okay.
If you have the
Yeah.
player, you can swap player right there
Right.
and then, and it will record all that information.
But, when you take that call on the, it tells you the amount and the accident. When you take the call, when you deposit, it tells you the amount and the accident.
Yeah.
Right there.
It'll tell you the asset number and the amount.
Just, but
Yeah.
If you send the jackpot from the iPad to the page, it's not gonna work because now we're gonna check the ID.
It only, when I say that, I was referring to you processing the entire thing on the iPad. And now you would take the jackpot paperwork over to the cage to say, hey, I need this money because I can't process it through the quick pay. Yeah, but that's not happening. Don't worry about that. Okay. Fantastic. History. Boom, these are the calls we've done. Up in the upper right-hand corner, that usage, that's where they can go and do meal break. This might be important for you guys who use the app. You can set your breaks by clicking in the upper right-hand corner where you see the usage button, those three dots. You just select status, and now you can say, hey, I'm busy off floor, so you won't be getting assigned calls. And you can do your meal break. So you could say, oh, it's lunch break time. You select the break you want, you hit the update button, and then it'll start counting down your whatever they configure for a lunch break or whatnot. If it's 45 minutes, if it's 30, whatever it is. That's configurable by them. And then when your break is over, you're done, you just hit the available button when you bring back up the app, and then it'll take you off break. Typically, we tell them to give you multiple lunch breaks in case you start to go on break, then you get called over into something else, so you can still take a lunch break after that. So that you're not forced to answer calls all afternoon. So that is the view from what would be the slot attendant. Now, if you are to manually do it, you'll get another roles tab. Let me log out and show you that. Log out. So everybody see how I got to there? When you need to log out. What's that?
What would you manually do it?
If you were wanting the slot attendants to service the queue themselves. But what you will need to remember, what you want all your employees to do when they log off shift, is to actually go into the upper right-hand corner, update, and hit the status button and then hit off shift. You have to do this, very important. It's right here, so that any calls get sent back to the queue. Hit off shift and update, so that it looks like this before you go home. So when you turn your iPhone in, make sure everybody's going off shift. Very important. Then if I want to log out after that, I'm going to hit to the upper left-hand corner where it says to the left of dispatch, those 3 lines, hamburgers, people refer to them. And then you would hit the log out button down here. Everybody see the little log out button. So now this is what it looks like as a supervisor. When I go into dispatch, I'll hit start shift. It asks me the zones. I hit the save button. Notice now I have a roles tab up there. So for you supervisors, you would click on that roles tab. In this case, myself as a supervisor is above 2 different roles. You create that in Synkros. We have the example of the slot technician and then the actual slot attendant. So you can see a summary of, hey, there's 1 call in process, 1 person's on a break. There are 4 in the queue, 4 calls in the queue, and then 2 people available to take calls. So what you would do is you would go down to the attendant role then, and it has my list of all the slot attendants that are logged in. You can now view the queue. That queue is of unassigned calls if you're using manual mode. So from there, that's where you would then say, okay, we have Howard Roberson available and Mark Osborne. So you would go and click the view queue because you want to see the unassigned calls. But this is also where, okay, Catherine, I clicked on her name and you can see her status, but also the zone. That's where you could change the zone by going through the roles tab, clicking on the slot attendants button, because that's the role that you are a supervisor to. And then you can click on the individual employee and then change zones if you need to for them. So I would click zone, and then I could deselect or select which zones on the fly. You can also see their history of how many calls they've done. Like, hey, Catherine, 0 calls, huh? What's going on here?
And there's a report.
Yes, there are. That you'll have access to. So I'm going to go back, but the main thing I want to show you is this is where either a slot attendant, if you give them that ghost role to supervise, to allow them to see the roles tab and then to see the queue. If you're doing manual, if you're doing automatic, this won't be here. So they would view the queue. These are all the calls. You see the priority of the calls. You can see the calls. So then you could pick a call, jackpot, and then assign to an available slot attendant. I just am literally selecting on the call, and then I'd select the assign button. It says no available, but that's because it's a demo that we use for sales presentations. But you would then click the assign button here, And it would assign that call and put it in their queue and set them, if they have no other calls, it would set it to working for them.
When you punch it up and you're looking at, say, somebody has their card in the game, it identifies their card, like if it's a signature or like there are different levels of their card.
Yeah, it had that on there. It had that they were gold or whatnot. It'll identify them by their tier. On the patron associated to that jackpot, you'll see their tier, and you can even prioritize like a jackpot such that a person of a higher tier has a higher priority to get their jackpot processed first. That higher tiered player, even though jackpots are both at number one, like highest priority, they'll be higher up with the two jackpots being listed because they are a higher tier level. And you can set that up within the system, if that's kind of what you're asking about. Yes, yes, yes. This is just demo, correct. Correct. It's not, that's not fixed. That's just for the demo. You'll be able to go in and set your dispatch zones. Ideally, we say to match them to your actual slot zones, so there's no confusion. Yeah. Any questions on on KONETIC? Sure. Yeah.
So we don't enter the information directly into the iPad, or we
You
do?
can add a patron through the ad, yes. So like,
Go right there, boom, boom, boom.
yeah, let me find one, hold on.
Type it in.
Let me go back to the page.
Can you create an account? Yes. If there was a jackpot and it wasn't assigned, yes, I've actually done it in the lab.
Yes, this one's
You can
uncarded
either
patron.
find the player or create a player.
Yeah, and then you can use the search. I hit upper right hand corner. There's no picture. There's a little magnifying glass. You tap into there. Or patron, or you just hit patron info and then the add patron button. Just hit patron info and add patron. And then you can type in their name, address and stuff.
If you take a picture of their ID, we'll go through their account.
No, that's player soft. That does the auto enroll. It's pretty nice. I mean, Synkros is amazing though. Yeah.
What's fine?
Try to find first, always. Yeah.
You can create the whole account by hitting add patron.
And then you'll see this new patron.
It doesn't name patron ID.
It'll still scan their ID, is gonna not be in the system anymore?
No, you would have to
No.
scan it in through the patron one touch form and then you can assign it to the account that way.
Which it would probably be easier to create it at the
Yeah.
terminal, because we're gonna be using something called Mr. Setting. So it's a preference. If you
Yeah.
can't do it here real quick, because you wanna just do it all at the terminal, you can still create it at the terminal.
So, but are we still gonna store their images on,
Yes.
the patron database?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's an easier way to do it, right, Jason? Yeah.
Yeah, they have, Mr. Study, it's just, what IT created. It's like a scan gun, you'll be able to use the barcode in the back of the license, you scan it, and it'll populate everything. You're gonna-
there too?
Your email that you're currently using now and your password, that's what lets you create it. So that's something different than Synkros. So there's two ways to create an account. Like, let's say you can't scan a password or something that doesn't have a scan, then you can go and Synkros and use the feature one plus sign up and create it there as well.
Maybe scan.
We won't be able to scan passports. It'll
No.
be-
So that's why you can either create it here or you can create it on the Synkros terminal.
Right. No, you're fine. In the Synkros terminal, if the scanner can do it, you could use passports. through the one touch form. But it just depends on the scanner you guys have connected to the terminal.
Key.
Okay, then,
The image is only going to show up on Kinetic if it was previously entered in there. So with the
Right.
patron would have an image. You can create the account, but then when you go over to get the money, you have to scan the ID and scan the image so that it will show up in the next time. So older patients with a regular account, if they're already scanned, it's going to show there. But if it's never been scanned, you're going to have to still scan the picture.
And all the current accounts, we can very transfer all the information.
From what they're telling us.
data migration, it all should come over. Yeah, it all should come over. No, it should just be, I'm gonna get to that as soon as we finish this part. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions on Kinetic so I can then show you the true time display stuff and go through that? That's the touch screen player tracking. Yes.
NCC is not part of Konami, that's something separate.
Yeah.
They use Synkros. That's not going to transfer over.
So it's better to create the account in the computer then.
Yes.
NCC will have access to that information, but if you create the account through the iPhone, it's not gonna transfer to NCC.
I'm not sure.
Transfer to Synkros. There's not NCC can pull it from
I don't think
Synkros.
NCC is going to be able to pull from Synkros. We're going to have to do it manually. For NCC.
It's better if we just update them.
In the beginning, until we get very familiar with it, and then we'll start looking for shortcuts or easier ways.
We go to attendant pay the tolls next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any, yes, it's the exact same basically. Any questions on Kinetic, guys, anymore? If not, let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. So you want to see that? One thing I wanted to show you really quickly, or do you not want to see the, hold on. 1 second here. Because we've been talking about you carding into a machine, and I want to show you what that looks like. So Jackpot, this is basically every slot machine currently has the touchscreen on it. We're going to be replacing it with our touchscreen, our hardware. So when a jackpot hits, you guys will walk up, you'll see it, you'll get the notification. You're going to have to card in what that looks like for you. I'm going to card in as an employee. You'll put in your PIN in the touchscreen, probably pretty similar. You'll have these menu options. You're going to want to go to the hand pay menu to verify or acknowledge that jackpot. So you'll literally just touch the hand pay menu button, and complete will actually be grayed out. The only option, you may not have access to cancel. I can hide that. Key to credit would be if you were manually doing it. No, you don't have access to that. Okay. Okay, so that's gone. You'll just have access to those two buttons. Verify is what you do to acknowledge the A step, the second step of our RAP process. After you then process that paperwork, you'll come back and then so you'll click verify. Then I'm assuming that you then go to your jackpot workstation, your easy pay machine, you process the jackpot, you get the money. When you come back, you're going to card in again. You'll put in your PIN, you'll see your menu options. You'll go back into the hand pay menu and you'll click complete, typically after you pay them. This will unlock the game. You won't have to key the game off anymore. No reset key.
Don't need.
Yeah, per procedure. Yeah. So make sure that they were like happy with their jackpot payout. It matches the amount still shown on the slot machine. Everything's good. They're still ecstatic. You take the picture with them if you need to, per your procedures, and then card back in, hand pay menu complete to unlock the game. After this, do you guys want to take a 10-minute break or do you want to just keep going? Up to you.
Yeah, we'll go there.
Okay. Perfect.
All the stuff we're gonna move forward. You know.
Yeah. I still need to go through the change to the marketing that will show up on the TTD. They asked me to do that. I have a PowerPoint. I'm supposed to show everybody that we train about the change to like free play and points earned and download points. Yeah. And so I want to do this, then that, then the attendant pays bills, and then, so it might be another 30 minutes or so. Yeah, just.
If you don't put the data frame, it's not correct in there, it's changing the breakdown. If you can't change player now. Basically.
We never used to be SARC anymore, right?
It is stated that.
If the servers was that, that was just that. Right, it's legally unsafe. You can get some on me. Okay, thank you.
Synkros, they do it on their gadget. It will go right into Synkros, and now Synkros, NCC will look at the player information in Synkros, and then
No, I'm saying they put it off the same one. Well, they need to have the information in there to get the breakdown. If not, they should be good.
Everybody get that? Are we good? Okay. The other thing I want to go through that you may have access to, that's nice, game info, lifetime meters on the game. If you see right here, total credits, that's the literal credits on the machine right then. So if they said, hey, I actually had $250, and you say, no, it looks like you have $85.40 because these are in penny D now.
Can you pull the card?
Resets it?
Yeah.
No, this is reading the game. This is whatever's on. What reset? Okay,
Yes,
Right. How many credits are currently on the slot machine?
right,
okay.
yeah.
It doesn't reset it per gas, it's reading what.
It's reading what's in the game.
Right. Yeah,
That's intended, it, so it's 80.
right. Because your game denom is 1 in the upper left-hand corner.
And they're all gonna be.
They're all gonna be penny denom?
Okay.
Yeah. And so this kind of has your GP games played since last power up, since last door close. That's where you can get some of those statistics, but for individual spins. Then you have game sync. So if there's something wrong with the game and the game sync is just in 15 minutes and it doesn't have 12 days or 185 days in front of it, then, maybe there's an issue with the SYNKBOX communicating to the middleware servers or those sort of things. But the super nice thing about the game info tab is total credits. You can also see your NCEP in out. Lifetime, yeah. Yeah, or sense of RAM clear or whatnot. That was game info, yes? Should be ideally.
No, no.
Oh, on the actual machine, yeah. This is the true time.
Touchscreen on every machine.
So each game will give you the coin in and the coin out from that player.
No,
That's life today.
lifetime, and then whatever's on the meter right then. Yeah,
If you still have access to that window.
Yeah.
it'll Tell you exactly how much you credit.
And
Right.
You'll have to figure it out.
Right.
That's cool. For the-
Yeah.
yes,
Nice, man.
Everything else, it's.
Probably not really. Right.
I
yeah.
got coin in, coin out, I got excited.
That's more.
Yeah. And then we have game history. This is nice because if you're doing that, hey, I lost a voucher, that might be there because it'll show you the last 20 transactions on that game. So you just keep hitting the arrow there to go back another 5, another 5, another 5. And this would also show you if a game were put in drop mode or jackpot hit, employee card in. You could see the employee card in, card ID number, patron card in. So it may be a faster way. If somebody just recently lost a slot ticket, you can go straight to the machine. You're playing on this machine. Okay, let me card in. Let me see. Oh, here's this voucher out. Here's your card. You know that you carded in. You put $100. You got a voucher out for $172.13. You can write that number down, and now you can.
Does that give you the validation code, like before you get your validation code?
It might, I don't think, it will never give you the 16-digit voucher number. The last 4, perhaps, you don't need that for voucher search though. Yeah, but you'll also see that 4 in voucher search when it finds, when I show you voucher search later, we'll go into that detail. But here's nice to find the exact amount and not have, to find it very quickly without having to mess around in Synkros, doing the micro reports. Other things you have are game utilities. Are you guys gonna allow them to lock games through the TT? Okay, so you unlock games here. You could put in the meal code here. There's a VIP mode. I'm not sure if you're going to be using that. That would silence all the promotional messages coming through the TTD and any sound on the TTD. Okay, you're not using that. No problem. Meal other would allow you to enter a meal code for another game from this game. So if you had done something on a slot machine and the patron was like in a hurry to get back on that game, and they're like, get out of my way, I need to play. You can say, okay, sure. And then you can just go to the game right next door and put in the meal code if you wanted to electronically that way for the asset you just worked on. Restart device. If you need to restart that SYNKBOX, occasionally you'll have a thing where maybe the points to play aren't downloading or whatnot, and you just restart the SYNKBOX to fix that. You come in here in the game utilities, hit restart SYNKBOX, and you don't have to open the game, unplug the SYNKBOX, plug it back in, blah, blah, blah. You can just do that electronically if you give them access to the restart button. And
Will
it's
they report their card that it didn't count their points, or do you have to do that
you would have to manually adjust for that. You'd have to then take their word on it but sometimes it might be recording their play, just doesn't let them download points. Other times, it could be various things, but you can then go to player history that I'll show you to see if there's a rating there for them that got their play. If not, then you'd have to like contact surveillance. How long were they at the game? How much money they put in? Let me just figure out how many points they should get. Okay, we'll give you 100 points. Well, however you handle it. So restart device, it takes about 5 minutes for the SYNKBOX to come back up and the game to be playable again after you restart, but it can be nice. And then hand pay we went over. The other thing I want to go over with you guys is the patron menu. And I have an actual PowerPoint for that. Give me 1 second here. Can you guys see this? This is what's been on your TV in front of your employee dining room, basically. They wanted me to go over it with you to make sure you got it. So they're going to use the same card, same account number. We use a different track on the actual mag stripe, so you can just write to it. So they can, I think they're just going to be giving you their card and you just encode right onto the card they had. And so everything will basically stay the same for them, same free play. They'll be called comp dollars on their account as well. You'll just need to see that there are separate icons. They can view their balances. They can still download free play. A lot of things they don't have to go to the kiosk for anymore. If they're getting a prize, a physical prize, they don't need to go to the kiosk to print out a ticket to take it to your rewards center. They can literally, it'll be on their account after they earn it or have received it. The other thing is, let me go down to the next one. Bonus free play, no kiosk activation. It sounds like maybe they used to have to go to a kiosk to activate. It will just automatically be available for them. So hands off for you guys. The free play multipliers, they'll earn some same day free play, and then they'll have it so that a larger portion is available to them 3 days later. Yeah, marketing decided they wanted this 3-day rule. It's not it's the system's completely customizable, so you can set it up however you want.
You said the same day free play, they'll get some, and then most of it they'll get in 3 days.
I believe so, yeah. And I'll show you where they can see that through the display. Yeah. Yeah.
This day,
Yeah.
and then the next day, the rest is available, so it's gonna be set up something
Yeah.
similar. to
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm looking for basically for instance.
that.
Yeah, the next time they come. What if they do a slot tournament?
Yeah.
That's, yeah, yeah.
They can print out their entry form right at the game, or not print it out, it'll be on their card.
Yeah, it'll be on their account if they have one. It depends what type of tournaments you set up.
Same thing.
I think it's 90. Yeah. Depending on their level, some of them, right.
The whole purpose is to drive an incremental trip, so you're coming back because you got free play. Sorry.
And so on this slide, it shows where you can view that, but I can just give you a larger picture of that. See the chain link thing here? That's where they touch to see the free play, their free play balances, and the rewards that they've earned for next time. So they can see all of their balances by clicking right here on this better icon. To actually download the free play they've earned, they're going to hit the stacks of cash icon after they've carded in. And the whole screen itself, this background will change depending on their tier level. So depending on if they're Premier or Elite or Signature, Reserve will be the color. So you'll know instantly when you walk up to a game or as you're walking by a game. That's a Premier player. That's a Reserve player. That's a Signature guest. I'm just going to keep walking. No, you never do that. Never. But let me click on the stacks of cash icon. So, and you guys will get cashless wagering later, it sounded like, but that would be available here too. The top is the free play that they've earned through their offers, or if you've given them for guest recovery. The middle one, the points to play, are the points they earn by playing that they can download to the machine. So if they want to see their balances, they can come either to the stacks of cash icon, or they click the big web services icon in the center. Now to redeem, we talked about redeeming gifts and offers and things. That's the Starburst icon, or the gold star they used to get in elementary school. You click on that, and then it'll show you their available offers they have. So this is where they can come in here and select that free, whatever you might, sweater, hat, whatever cool promo stuff you guys give away. Yeah, it'll be all right there through the true time display. In this case, they have two options. With our marketing, these are technically called offers. You can give up to 5 different things to a guest, and then you can have them select 2 or 3 of the 5 or give them all 5. But so in your example on the display in front of the EDR or TDR, they just have one thing in that offer. So you just see that one thing that you can select. In this example on our training demo, we have 2 things. So it would be either a tournament, or you can give bonus points, or you can give free play, or you can give comp points, or you can give drawing tickets. Those are all things that are available, or any type of comp voucher. A comp voucher could be for a hug. Whatever you'd like. You can do all of it. It's all customizable by you guys, however your marketing department wants to set it up. But how you access it is by going to the Starburst menu. And then you'll see which offers you have available. And you would just select, and then that offer will instantly hit their account once you select it. Correct. Correct. Now,
Right from the machine.
every slot machine is a marketing kiosk, basically, for you guys now. So those two, the farthest icon on the right is just to adjust the volume. Every time you hit a button on the true time display, it'll make a sound like on your iPhone, the clack, 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 clack. So you can reduce that volume by hitting it. 1 sound wave is low volume, 2 sound wave medium, 3 sound wave loud. The last icon is the cogwheel. This is where they could go if they wanted to change the language on the true time display. They could do that through here if they want to see comps available. Card level, if you guys use the CLA, eventually by hitting card level, they could see their progress to the next tier. Each bubble is 10% progress. So this is 5 bubbles. They're halfway through to the next tier. That's kind of a cool feature. If you guys use Super Series, I'm not sure if you have it or if you're going to use it ever. Okay. Well, it's like a bonusing program. You can set your numbers. You would come in here to set your 5 numbers, basically. But if you're not using it, don't worry about it for now. We'll give you more training on it later if you eventually go live with it. Again, back to the cogwheels. I talked about changing link. The Starburst, that's your offers again. It's available in 2 places. This one, the Abacus, this is not going to be here. Neither of the show or hide points. Are you going to be allowing people to change their PIN at the slot machine or no? Because theoretically, you could change the PIN with the padlock. So if they wanted to change it from whatever they had assigned to something else, they could do it. Yes, yes. And then you'd put in your PIN and then you enter your new PIN twice so that you make sure you put in your correct new PIN. So the globe is where you go to change the language on the true time display. If you have people and they want to change it, Spanish perhaps, they would click on Espanol, and then everything would be now in Spanish when you card in.
Every game that they go to.
Yeah, it would follow them.
They only do
It would follow them, correct, correct. Now I need to hide everything again. Okay, we're just gonna skip that. The last 2 things you had, that barcode is for any comps available. I don't know if you guys are gonna be issuing comps like that. You do have the flex issue for 0-point comps if you need to issue those. We'll get into later, but this is where it would show those comps for food and beverage or whatnot that you had. Are you gonna be doing drawings? The drawing drum would be for drawing tickets they've earned. So yes. Yeah, the guests can see. The sweepstakes, they earn a ticket now just by carding into a machine. They card in, and that's the only requirement. We set up an incentive for that. So the only requirement being they just need to card into a machine and they earn that ticket to your sweepstakes drawings.
So we currently have one that, for example, every time they hit a jackpot, they get an entry.
Right.
Can this be set up where it automatically assigns them an entry as soon as the machine realizes that if they hit a jackpot?
That's a good question. They have bonusing, but I don't know, man. How it's, I could show you the incentives form. Geez, hitting a jackpot. You could probably set it up. You could probably set up total win over $1,200, which is your taxable amount. So if they hit it over $1,200 win, maybe that's how they'd go about doing that. But theoretically, if we can set it up, then it'll auto issue it. And then the last one is, do you allow guests to reserve slot machines themselves? No, so that won't be there then. You don't have any games. Okay, that was gone. So that is what the patron sees. Let me just go back really quickly to make sure we got everything. So as I said, in the center, that's where they can find their bonus, and it'll look like this bottom screen here. You guys have seen that on the TV. It'll look like that. They'll see their comp dollars. And then we'll go down to the next slide, the display. These are the different backgrounds that I was telling you about based on their tier status. That's how that'll look. Signature is black, preferred orange, prime purple, and reserve blue. No tier status change. Everybody should be the same tier that they were prior to the system switch over. And will there be any changes to comp dollars? Comp dollars will expire in 90 days after being earned for your signature. For the prime, reserve, and preferred, they get 180 days to use their comp dollars that they have on their account. Any questions on that? Is that the same as it currently is? Yeah, this is your guys. Okay. Yeah. They sent the PowerPoint to us, so they have, or I could try and get it to you or email it to you. Yeah. And then here's the question about, will there be any changes to same-day free play? All same-day free play will expire 90 days from the date that it was earned. And then existing same-day free play balances will expire July 9th. And you're going to be displaying this in the slot area? Okay. And upcoming enhancements, I was talking about, they'll be able to see tier point balances on the machine. That's probably that CLA feature where you can see the bubbles. So they'll see their progress that way. And then comp dollar free pay balance expiration on the player portal and the player app. So if they have their app, they'll be able to see those balances as well. And you guys will be the first casino in the Atlantic City market to be cardless and cashless. Those are, what's that? Okay. I mean, when it happens down the road, so those are down, and that was the Ocean presentation. They wanted me to show you guys, make sure you're up to date. Any questions on any of that stuff? All right, so it should look like this. You've logged in. How do we know we've logged in? We see our name, slots in the upper right-hand corner. Along the bottom, you'll see your instance, Ocean Casino Resort Training, slots, your username. Gaming day should always be on the right gaming day. And then repository. You guys are processing jackpots, so you'll have a repository assigned to your workstation because you need a repository for any financial transactions you do in Synkros. The upper left-hand corner, that Synkros start menu icon. This will allow you to go back and forth because you are currently in tile view between the form and your home screen, basically. So if you go to the attendant pays fills form, this will take you back, and any search you've done will also still be there, which is really nice. So if I go into the menu, to the right of the menu, you see you have an open field here and it says search forms and reports. If I type in ATT, it gives me the attendant pays and fills form. And then I can go click onto that. And that is where we are going to go next. Or do you want me to show you how to create a new account that you might? Okay. All right, so we're on attendant pays fills. This is the form that shows you all of the pending jackpots and what you're going to use to process jackpots. Or if you need to create a manual jackpot, you come here to do that. All your jackpot processing is handled here. For whatever reason, after they leave, I'll change the access for voucher search, but, so we have our monitor tab. Is everybody on this form? And say, Russ, everybody's at, okay. So this is where you as supervisors can go and see what's going on. You have your device number in this is your training instance. We only have the 7,028. Location is the actual zone, and then bank and voucher number system created, date and time, the amount. You can filter the columns by clicking on them. If you want to see the highest amounts, you could at the top, or if you want to see by date and time, which is how it defaults to, you can. The next action at the right-hand side, if you guys can read those, we have the ones in blue are jackpots. The ones in green are canceled credits, just so you're aware. The blue are always going to be jackpots. The green are always canceled credits. I said we had 4 steps. We have the request, we have the acknowledge, we have the process print. In here, it's going to be called print, and then we have the pay. When a jackpot hits, they're going to show up on this form, and the next action is going to be ACK for acknowledge. That is when the slot attendants or whomever supervisor goes to the machine, views the actual machine, verifies that that's a jackpot. You're going to do what? Card into the machine, type in your PIN, hand pay menu, hit verify. When you do that, it's going to auto increment here and be in the print step when you get back to this workstation, if you are processing the jackpot on the workstation. Yeah. Right.
Go to the machine.
Yeah, when you go to the machine, if you're here and Aaliyah's at the machine and she cards in and hits verify, you'll see this update to now print. Because the acknowledge has happened. The acknowledge stage has been completed by her carding in, going to the hand pay menu and hitting verify. Right, if the next action is print, that means it's been acknowledged at the machine. If the next action is pay, that means you've printed the paperwork out, printed out the W2G, and you're ready to complete the transaction in Synkros. Ideally, you would have gotten the money and you're literally ready to walk over to the guest and pay them. So you verify everything is complete and do that. Now, if you wanted to manually do a jackpot, do your attendants start any manuals or no? I don't think. Okay, so they can start one. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. How to create a manual, you have to hit this manual attendant pay button in the lower right-hand corner. If you do not hit this, you will not be able to create that manual. It's going to take us to the next tab over, which is the attendant pays tab. Now, this is where you enter in the machine number. You're going to put the guest on it. You're going to put that it was a jackpot or canceled credit, and then you're going to put the amounts. So we're going to go through and do that. You only have one machine in your training instance. It's 70028. Then what I like to do is hit the tab button, and it filled in the description of the machine, the location of the zone, so we know we're good. Next, I like to add a patron. The easiest way to do that is pressing Control F, or you would hit that find button at the very top of the screen. So you can either hit find or hit Control F. Now in your training instance, you do have an Alex, but his name is Alexander. So I typed in ALEX and the percent sign. Then you can hit enter. And this is what happens. It brings up everybody whose first name starts with Alex. Shift 5 on your keyboard. Shift number 5. Everybody got that? It doesn't matter. Whichever is your favorite, Alex. You know, for me, it's me. So I did the lower Alexandru. I did Alexandru. So your patron should appear here. It'll have their card number. everybody got a patron assigned to a jackpot?
It says card numbers, that's not the patron
ID, no.
That's not the card itself, correct?
No, what's printed on all of your guest cards is the patron ID number. That's the unique number that doesn't change, that's assigned to their account. The card ID number that you can only find here, basically, is unique to that card itself. And that can change, like after you reprint a card 5, 10, 50 times, you may retire a card, that you'll create a new card, that new card will have a different card ID number. But the patron ID will never change, and the patron ID is what's printed on the card. The number on the card will be their patron ID number, it will never change, will always be unique like that. So, we're aware. You got it?
The card ID is not their account number.
Correct.
It's basically set up that now you guys never see that card number, but
Yeah.
it's always there.
Yeah, exactly.
But where,
The card number is one of patron ID, where it's gonna go.
right, but when you use the search tool,
Yeah,
will it bring up
it just usually it.
You can't, if you use the search tool, like, let me press Control F again, patron ID is the second line down.
Yes.
So if you had their card in front of you and even easier, if you have an extra, you usually just swipe it, card reader. But if you don't, you could take the number off the card and put it in the second one down.
Patron ID.
Don't put it in card number, put it in patron ID. It is. I'm sorry about that.
What you do,
It's a feature. It's a feature. I swear, it's a feature.
take it out. Okay, the actual card number that we use is patron number.
It's patron ID.
That's why you couldn't find it.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's like the patron ID is your bank account number, and the card ID is like the number on your debit card that it can change if it's a debit card. But your bank account number will never change.
You're home. They're not impressed.
Any questions on that so far? Not in this part. You'd have to do it when you do the tax form part if they didn't have one. So on this part, if everybody's got that machine number and you've attached a patron, now we go to the right-hand side to the top, attendant pay type. And if it's a jackpot, you would do ATT pay JP. If it's a cancel credit, ATT pay CC. I don't know if you guys are doing disputes or not. If you were, you would select dispute. So you guys might just be the top two only. Cancel credit or jackpot. Okay. In this case, let's make a jackpot. So that because jackpots would require tax form or a cancel credit does not. So I selected ATTJP. Typically, you guys will put in something for handrail position for audit, perhaps. Maybe it was bonus spins or something like that. Bonus. I like to hit the tab. When I'm creating a manual, I like to hit the tab on this form because it goes to the next box that I need to go to usually. And it saves the information. So I hit tab from bonus and now it's total attendant pay. That's the total amount of that jackpot or cancel credit, whatever the total amount is that you're paying out for that transaction. So I'm going to do $1,350. You guys can use whatever number you want. Yeah, use 1200, 1201. Just remember your transaction. When I hit tab after doing that, it takes me to the cash pay field line. So this is where I assume 99% of your jackpots are paid out in cash. So hitting tab once from total attendant pay takes you to cash pay. You need to put in the same exact amount there. How it works is the total attendant pay has to equal the amount in the four fields below it. Like if you had machine pay or check pay, coupon pay, if you used a purchase voucher to pay out, you can put how much that value is there. Again, it's kind of for audit and accounting. But these values have to add up to the total pay. So I type in 1350. If it doesn't, and you go to hit the request button, it will give you a warning message and it won't allow you to proceed. The values have to match. Your total attendant pay has to match the sum of the 4 boxes below it. I just typically, if 99% of cash, you hit tab, it takes you to cash pay, and then you put in the same amount as the total attendant pay because you're paying them everything in cash. So on here, I have 1350 in total attendant pay and 1350 in cash pay. So I have everything I need to proceed with this manual jackpot processing. If you guys are going to allow that, yeah? Yeah, yeah,
Say the wrong person.
right. You would hit Control F or find if you have the wrong person attached to a jackpot. We have Alex, maybe it was the wrong Alex. The find is the magnifying glass up here at the top. You could get to it with Control F as well. And then we just do our search. Maybe it's the other Alex. So I do the ALEX, Shift 5 for the percent sign. And now I want the Alexander, not the Alexandru. So you'll notice the patron name is now changed to our correct patron. So if you have husband playing on wife's card or vice versa, and you need to change them, Control F or the magnifying glass at the top, that
You
find
do
button.
the same thing for a jackpot also.
Yeah, as long as you have not printed the jackpot paperwork, you can change it. Yeah, but if you hit print, you can no longer change the patron on the jackpot. Avoid, baby.
You can use that.
Avoid the void.
Not to use it.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys,
Copyright.
there's no, that's free? That one's free? Okay. It's like Mozart music.
Yeah.
You can use it for free. Awesome. Yeah, so please always verify before you continue, before you hit print, that you have the right patron. And if you need to change that name, you can, so long as you haven't completed the print step yet. In this case, we're hitting the request button. If you wanted to, you could hit quick pay and it would take you straight to printing. If you guys are very comfortable with this manual and you want to speed the process up because you're busy, you could hit the quick pay button and it would go to straight to printing the paperwork if you have a patron assigned. Because then you'd have to go and hit acknowledge, then you'd have to go and hit print. Yeah, I can show you the long way.
These would be it.
No. Okay.
Just like everything.
Yeah, so
Earn that you know.
This will be it.
So you guys, per Daisy, will hit quick pay. So make sure you have the right guest assigned to that jackpot. This is for manuals. If you have a system generated jackpot and there's a card in, there'll already be a guest on there. But again, you can change that guest if it was a husband and wife that were playing on one another's card by doing the find. But so I'm hitting quick pay and it immediately asks me now to do a tax form. So in this case, if it's a US citizen, or it's W2G, foreign national, 1042S. I'm going to show you the W2G by clicking on the W2G. Did everybody get that pop-up after they hit quick pay? Nice. Now I have Alexander because I changed him because it was 2 friends playing and they had the wrong card in. You'll notice the SSN. Does everybody see where SSN is on here in the middle left? It's all zeros. I think with data migration, I'm not sure if we're bringing over the SSNs or not, hopefully, maybe. I don't know if that's like illegal to do or not. But if it's a new guest, first time hitting a jackpot, you don't have their social security number in there, you're going to have to put it in and save it here through this form if it's not already entered. Yeah, I'm going to do that after I change it. So in this case, I clicked into the SSN and I'm going to put in a social security number. And once I've done that, I now have to go up to the edit button and click update. So you go click edit and then update. Do you guys see that? Do all my editors see that? I went to the upper left there of that window and I clicked edit. I get the drop down and now I have to click update. Okay, so we've checked. So,
You all right over there?
yeah, so you do the cancel credit. You do the cancel credit, so the tax form's not gonna pop up for you. So if you want to do a new one,
Didn't pop up for the Dustin fight.
at 1,200,
Yes.
See, popped up for the information. I can't get.
There's your third black empty now, right?
yeah, so we'll have to adjust it. But you're not,
The same button.
Yeah.
When you drink, I'm not security, you get at it, right?
oh, you're 50 out there, you'll
Still doesn't, can't customer say it.
so it's not gonna
Can't say it.
You up there? I might have saved it.
That's sunset.
yeah, so you're not social security.
That's what it does, basically, you update, that's what it's saying.
Yes, I did.
So go to W2G.
Okay.
So here, let me go back to there, let's make this recording.
Save. There.
Okay, once we've got that social security number saved, we go to the W2G tab now. And again, this is a first time customer hitting a jackpot. So if they want their taxes taken out, you can record that here for US federal taxes withheld. It's going to default to 0, but you get the occasional guest that may want taxes taken out. You can record that here by just typing in whatever number you want. And it'll auto calculate. I can write that down.
Oh, wait,
Feature enhancement. 24 and 3?
Yeah.
I'll write that one down.
Did you put a guess in?
Yeah.
I put the other guy into account. I got it in populated. They changed the guy. So did it pop up and you had W2G and you have that screen pop up? So now you have to go to the W2G tab within that. Yeah, and then you would hit issue W2G. But before you can do that, you have to put in a first and second ID over here. The very first time you issue a jackpot to someone, you will need a first and second ID. Per you guys, one might be a driver's license number, second one maybe their social security number, vice versa. So I'll put in random numbers. And theoretically, that would be whatever your regulation, whatever your SOPs are. Yeah, but even on a created account, if they haven't hit a jackpot, those aren't not considered. It doesn't pull them in until you type it in, and then it saves it and solves there.
So if you would establish account has their ID or you want to forward and then, right? Oh,
No, these are accounts with IDs and everything, like the very first time. You have to put in first ID and second ID.
pretty good.
And then it'll save it in perpetuity after that. But it doesn't automatically.
So all initial jackpots changed here.
Means that those numbers put in the
Okay.
first time.
Heard that, Nancy?
So if it's a foreign jackpot, we put the 9, it's gonna do it itself?
It's for jackpot, you do the 1042S,
Oh, okay.
and then it'll auto take the 30%, I think in that case. So
We gotta add the 3.
then you have to add the 3. Yeah, for the 1042S forms.
I got this. Try that.
So then once we put in that first and second ID, we can hit the issue tax form button. Future upgrades, yes. Copy and paste. You can do that. You can. I think you can. You can copy and paste it to Synkros. Listen,
All I need from jackpot, say if to put the ID in, the two IDs.
the first and second on the tax roll.
If I say, if I'm in this,
But it's like that now on ITP, the first one, you don't put it in and then it says. ITP represents.
if it's, okay, if I'm in this,
But.
taking that back screen.
Their ID information. from the-
Yeah, so how would you say that's when I hear five, the second, can you put it in Excel? If I highlight that, try to paste, copy it, it will copy. That was when the copy was pasted in, that's the second I need.
Yeah, I probably not.
You do it.
Let's go into the. Let's say into the.
Copy it.
Any questions on that? Copy and paste, yes. Yes, yeah. You can, totally. Just- that must be it. Hold on one second, little technical difficulty here.
I'm gonna say that. The white's a preview to that state.
Take it off, but it doesn't.
I'll take 40 bucks.
Wow.
Oh, man, you're going to stay. It automatically takes the 30%, not to do it. Yeah, I just have to figure it out and put it in the summer, 3%. Exactly what we do.
Not to put 3% on my.
Well, you could actually put it in, it's staying at 3,600 around. I just went ahead and just did what I was saying. Okay.
Any questions on that, guys? Any other questions on that?
That's pretty cool.
The last thing that a lot of tenants have are creating a patron account with a patron one touch and then doing a tax form. Will they be doing tax forms?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll show them a form. You can reprint a tax form and update if you need to.
Okay.
So we'll go over those two next then.
You'll definitely be doing this.
Okay. The next form I want to show you is that if you need to reprint a tax form after you've done a jackpot, one thing to note is after you've printed that jackpot paperwork, I'm gonna go back to the 10-page bills, actually. So the last step is this pay step. So if I select on a jackpot on the pay step, I'm gonna select on the top one, please. Just watch, because if we work on the same jackpots, we'll get collisions and errors. In this case, you'll notice it has the jackpot. It's the $1,500. It's for Alexander. We have the reprint button. This is the only time we can reprint jackpot paperwork if we needed to. If there were an error in the printer, this is at the only stage where you can reprint. If you hit pay, it's going to drop the jackpot off the form and complete the transaction. You can no longer reprint the jackpot paperwork. So if you ever needed to reprint for below toner, I don't know, you'd have to do it here and then before actually hitting pay.
Because once you hit pay, you can't reprint it.
Correct. You would have to then void that one and redo this into, if you needed the paperwork. Again,
Gotcha.
avoid the void, guys. Avoid the void, make sure the paperwork.
You can't go to tax form, get the transaction number and then reprint it.
You can reprint a tax form, you can't reprint a
Jackpot slip itself. Okay.
Once you get past this
So you
stage.
can go to a different window because the money's twice.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of.
Can't reprint the jackpot, it's like, it's just here.
After this step, you can do it here, but only here. And so if everything is good, ID, guess was right. Even at this step though, we cannot change the guest assigned to the jackpot. if you've hit print and printed the jackpot already and completed the print step, you can no longer change the guest assigned to the jackpot. You gotta tell your supervisor, we need to redo it as a manual to assign the right patron to the jackpot and have audit void this one out later. We're trying to avoid the void, so before you print, before you do all that W2G stuff, make sure you have the right patron here, where it says patron name. Yes, before you print. To avoid the void. There's no going back. So once we have everything and we're good, we want to drop the transaction off. We have the money, we have all the paperwork. We're ready to go back and pay the guest. Typically, people then complete the pay step so that it drops off the Synkros and go and pay the guest. So complete that pay step. And now that jackpot, that 1,500 is dropped off of our monitor form. No, you'll see them. Yeah, every pending one. Yeah.
Make sure you guys print the right ones.
Yeah, so ideally you write the asset number and the amount and you'll verify here and look for your jackpot, asset and amount. For what? Say that again. Right. Yeah, you can see it until you hit pay. And once you complete the pay step, it'll drop off the monitor. Yeah, but you would hit, like if you're in here, let's say you're on this jackpot and you want to go back to see all the other ones, you can either click on the monitor tab or click cancel clear. This doesn't cancel the jackpot. This just takes you back to the monitor tab. So you can click cancel clear down here. And now I'm back at the monitor tab looking at all the jackpots.
Here's your question. Have you got to be the right part for next week?
Hopefully none. But how many times can you? So many times as you need so you get it right. Hey, whoa, okay. Guess that's lunchtime. All right. Oh, we may go a little longer than 1 o'clock, guys. Which is fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, which is cool. We're like ironing out all the stuff that needs to get ironed out. Yeah.
Coin in, coin out.
Coin in, coin out.
Don't worry about that.
Any questions?
It's gonna fish.
Aaliyah? Okay. So everybody good? Everybody remember where this was? Slot accounting, attendant pays bills. For you guys,
Like what they did with the tile, and put exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Oh,
boom,
right,
just click on it.
I like that.
Boom. So now if you need to reprint a tax form or create a new one or update, you can update address and things like that on a tax form. You cannot update the amount that you held back.
Oh, you said if you have, say,
Yeah,
all right, say I printed the jackpot out, oops,
yeah.
they gave me a new address after I printed it out. I can go back and redo it.
Redo the tax form with the new
It has
address.
to be voided or anything, just
Right.
do that. We do that now, we can just
Yeah.
edit it.
Yeah, you can edit that. So where you go to do that? Slot accounting tax form admin. It's this tile down here.
So if we printed it,
Yeah,
they didn't tax it out, but then by the time we got there, we were like, oh, I really wanted my
Yeah.
tax stuff. Can we edit the tax?
you can create a tax form if you want to change that. The jackpot slip will stay the same.
Right.
Yeah, so you would go to tax form admin, it'll look like this, and you'll bring up your guest. Yeah, find player, control F, or the magnifying glass at the top. It's gonna be the same on pretty much every form. When you need to look for a player, it's the find with the magnifying glass, which will always be control F. So we're gonna do Alexander, because he just got a bunch. So he's the top guy. He's the only Alexander. And we see all the tax forms here. If you want to reprint one or edit one, you just have to select it. And now you notice that in the upper right-hand corner, we have the issue, update, and reprint are available to us. So if you hit reprint and reprint that one, if you want to update, again, you can only update things like their address on there. You can't update the amount withheld. You would have to actually just issue a new tax form if you want to change the amount withheld.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys may just be able to issue, they have access though to the tax form admin currently. You have to issue a new tax form. No. No, you could create a new tax form.
You can create a new tax form?
Yeah. But
How would you do that?
you would hit the issue tax form button. And then you would say W2G.
Fine.
Yeah, it's blank. And now you have to put in that jackpot amount, that asset, all that stuff from the old tax form. You would just put it in here. And then first and second ID are now saved because we've done one jackpot. So that part's good.
Okay.
And then you would hit issue W2G again. Oh, so if you want to change the withholding amount, your procedures are going to be to void the jackpot. If you want to change the withholding amount, you're going to void the jackpot and redo it as a manual. Do a brand new tax bill. If it hasn't been.
You know, because you, no, it was already through the reprinted, right?
Right, the jackpot's lit, yeah. Then you might only be using this to update an address on a tax form and then reprinting a tax form. Reprinting, yeah. Because if you redo a jackpot, when you go through the process, you'll redo the jackpot, the tax form while redoing the jackpot. So you won't have to come here to redo it. It'll just be part of the process we just did. So that's tax form admin. The last thing that, lot attendants have access to is to create a new account through Patron One Touch. So if you have Patron One Touch, it's in patron tracking. It is Patron One Touch sign up. So it's down here on your menu. Everybody see it? Go ahead and click on Patron One Touch. This, you can manually enter in the information if you want, but the true power is in having a scanner connected to that workstation and their ID, and just scanning their ID, and it brings in all the information and patron photos. Auto-populates. So all you would have to do is, it's defaulted to driver's license, is hit the scan button to the right of driver's license in the lower right-hand corner, and that should auto-populate all of their information for you. Using, hopefully you have like a scan, a Fujitsu or Shell soft or whatever. It's called an ID scan.
Okay.
Sure.
So we're going to.
It's only, it only lets you use a driver's license.
We have barcode and passport. So if your scanner can scan a passport, then you could theoretically use a passport. You can't do it. It's illegal. Yeah. Right. Right. So you would go into the patrons form, which you also have access to, I guess, straight line. And within there, there's an ID, and you can use the ID tab within the patrons form to enter military ID information.
Where's that?
So that's patron tracking. Everybody good with this one? Pretty simple, scan, and then you'll hit save, and then I should show you that at least, just real quick. When you hit save, it's gonna do a duplicate patron check. So this is when you could use to either update an existing account, or if they don't have an account, it'll create a new account. So go ahead, yeah. Yeah.
Wait.
It would. It would. If you manually type in the information here, as long as you put in a birthday over 21 years old, I believe are the only default settings, and a first and last name. You can save a patron and then go over to the patron maintenance form and type in their ID if you want. You could do that.
You can click on barcode, you scan the barcode, and have the license, they're all populated,
Yeah, but no pictures come over.
no pictures.
So if it's not bringing over the data correctly, but it brings over the photos, you can turn the ID over and then rescan as barcode. It will ask if you want to save. You say no, and it'll keep the pictures, but bring auto-populate all the data correctly from the barcode. So sometimes when you scan the picture side, yes. Yeah. Yes.
You can create, before I start, it's not recommended, and I want to make sure nobody does it that way. If you're on a regular form, like let's say a patient tracking and you hit clear, it'll let you create an account. The problem with that is it's not going to issue the card ID number. So if you guys are issuing a card, a new player's card, it should be from the form that he's showing you.
Yes, it'll print a player's card after you create an account with this form. But patron maintenance, if you manually do it, it won't. You have to go into the account tab and then issue a card through the account tab. It won't auto issue if you create an account through the ID.
We use this to say,
Yes, most of the time we're going to be using Mr. Seti anyway, but if you guys have to create an account on Konami, it has to be in this form, which is a patron one touch. This form will give you both the patron ID and a card ID, and it'll print. The other way I found that it's only assigning you one, which is a patron ID and no card number, so then you can't print the card. So I just want to make sure that if you're manually doing it, you're using this one.
You have to go to this.
I have to go to the book,
In the procedures.
the. Yes,
Okay.
that's why you're part of the print.
Okay.
Are they going to be able to finish the process, or we have to create the accounts? Because it was going to ask you for a PIN number. Right now, they cannot issue a PIN number.
You can.
Before,
That's something we have to discuss with them. They might not have authorization to assign a PIN, or they might bypass it. So they can still create the account, it's just not gonna ask for a PIN number. But we have to see how that works, we're saying, we're gonna have to wait.
So when you do go to save an account, you will get this duplicate patron pop-up. So I put in my name, Alexander Netto. You'll notice there's only one other Alexander, so there was the only matches that I tried to create with. You're gonna have a score. Score of 2 means one field matches. A score of 4 would be like first and last name match. So the higher the score, the more likely it is a duplicate account. If it is a duplicate account, you would just select on that account, and then you would hit the update selected button. But if it's not, you hit the insert new button to the left of that. You can also get patron details, which if there were a photo, it would show the photo of that patron. So you can be extra sure that this is the same person, so that you're not creating a duplicate account. How I did this is I hit the save button. And when you hit the save button, it pops this up before it actually allows you to create a new account. Now, when I hit insert new, because Alexander Netto is a new patron account, we get the PIN pop-up, as Daisy was saying, and this is where you would put in that PIN number twice, and it'll print out a player card for you. But if you use the patrons form to create a new account, it won't do this process. We can try, I can try and exit twice and see if it does that. No. Usually we say put in their birth years, their default or something, but it's up to you guys, whatever you want your procedures to be. Questions? And then it'll pop this up, and which is like printing the card out. I'm just going to cancel. So that's the patron one-touch form. Literally take their ID, put it on your scanner, hit the scan button, hit the save button, you should be good. If it's a new account, insert new. If it's an actual existing account, update selected. Last form. This form is nice. It's the patron's maintenance form. Lower left-hand corner. This is where you can go and it'll show you all the accounts in the database. If you need to put in that military ID, you would go to the ID tab. If you want to reprint a card, you would go to the account tab. I guess let's go through this really quickly. This, you hit the find, Control F to bring up your patron. You'll notice that Alexander followed us. Patrons follow you in Synkros, so if you're using them on one form, they will follow you to the next form. If you need to put a new patron in, the find button or Control F. This front will have their social security number, first, last name, other information here. You can see some meter information in the center. Contacts, this will be where their address, phone number, email address would live. You can add new contact information by hitting the add button. You can remove by hitting the, I'm not sure if your attendance will be view only or not, but this is where you would go to add, remove contact information. Demographics, this will get pulled off the driver's license typically. It'll have your age, height, weight, those measurements. Interest, this is for marketing. You could move those over. ID, this is where you would go to put in the military ID. It would be other. So it's the one on the far right. We have driver's license, passport, and then other. And so ideally, your IT department has created the military ID here. So you select military, and then this is where you could put in the numbers for ID number and whatnot for there, and then you would hit the save button. Whenever you're changing anything on the patron record or any record in Synkros, always have to hit the save button or Control S on the keyboard. So this is where you put in the military ID. If you needed to add another ID, you could hit the add button. If you need to add another. Yeah, you can. If that's one of the choices, you could. Yeah. Yeah, if it's their Costco executive membership card, you could, put that in there as well. If it's their scuba certificate ID or something. Then you could go to images. This is where you could see the patron images. If you scan their ID through One Touch, you'll see their driver's license, the entire license. You'll see their photo and then their signature image. You'll have 3 different images there. This computer is going to restart in 30 minutes. Account, this is an important one. This is where you would go to reprint a card. The account tab, you see the reprint button. All you'd have to do is hit reprint to reprint that card. That's like the most important one. Yeah. Other forms.
Like in other, when you're looking at other things, like you come across, because I noticed it.
What other things?
I'm trying to think, we were in Spot Lab, there was other things, right?
Yeah, card maintenance form, you can do that on. And then some of your custom forms, if you have the account tab on a custom form, you can reprint it from that custom form. But it would be the same tab. And these tabs, like your IT department created custom forms for you guys. I'm not sure if you got all of them, the tracking, transact, and activity. But from there, if you have the account tab, you can reprint cards. Yeah. Yes. Right. I've never seen the validation function used, so.
It's in the last.
They don't, right, they don't have access. Yeah, this role doesn't have access to even change the PIN. They have to do that maybe through your reward center.
But you said the players can change right at the game.
If you give them access to do that. But it's usually the green plus, yeah, the green plus. Currently, none of your slots roles have access to do that through this form. This form, you may have custom forms that they did give you access to do that on. Dates, this will be to add a birthday, group, marketing, post marketing. Stop code, you could stop patron transactions. You would be able to see those here, like earning points, comps, drawing tickets. You can do things like that for a player account. Skill level table games, tours is marketing. Custom fields would be like a note, but a pre-configured note that IT created that you can attach to an account, like military, first responder, branch of service, things like that would go in custom fields. Notes would be, it's not letting me, notes would be actual free-form notes. This is where you could go to and attach a mandatory read note. If you wanted a note to come up every time that patron account was brought up, you could do that with the note, with the mandatory read note specifically. You'll notice these two are system generated because they have the system name attached. But if I go to add a note here in the lower right-hand corner, and then I say note type, we get all of these for graphics, details, maintenance. Mandatory read is the one you guys want to focus on. If I save a mandatory read note, every time I bring up that patron account, that note is going to pop up. And you have to X out of that note before you can use Synkros or click. You can't just minimize it or ignore it. You literally have to close the pop-up every single time that patron account is brought up. So that's under notes, and the note type is mandatory read. If you want to lock a note to owner, you can. If you want to expire, you can. Properties don't typically expire notes, but there is a report for this, the patron audit note report, and you can see all notes created and written for a particular patron.
Instant.
Right.
Pops up.
Yeah.
So if they put player stop code, they can do a comment.
Yeah, they can do a mandatory read note like points frozen or marketing promotions frozen. Advantage player on our, progressive, not slots, but like that. Like, how there are teams that play the, like try to get royal flushes on your video poker. Like if you wanted to ban them from receiving, yeah, if you wanted to, you could let them play, but prevent them from receiving points with the stop codes. And then you could put a mandatory read note like patron not receiving points, part of like Royal Flush Video Poker Team or whatever. Progressive Video Poker Team. Then we have overrides. That's for point expiration. Theoretically, you could adjust when their points and comp points expire for your very high-end guess.
Yeah, see,
True time messenger would be to actually send a message to a guest that they would see on the touch screen while they're carded in, like happy birthday and whatnot. Yeah, there's, okay, so that's not on there. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I won't train that anymore then. So you have 3 custom. Yeah, it's not gonna be working. Okay. The 3 custom forms you have. Don't shoot the messenger. So this is your Ocean account form. So it's a custom form. It has fewer tabs than the patron maintenance form. So this just has, this is where you could go to reprint your cards, has the guest information, shows their picture. I went Ocean account. It's in the center here. You have Ocean account, Ocean activity, and Ocean transact. Account is to look at account information, pictures, things. Activity is play history. We have those tabs in there specifically for that. And then transact is to issue comps and whatnot. So IT created 3 custom forms for you. The first one is the account form. And that would be a lot of the tabs. Notice the tabs are the same. Account tab is to reprint that card, address, email, phone. You could also do a note here, but you could see the picture. The nice thing about this is it has this sidebar, which lists like current comp points on the account, current tier level, date of birth. So you can all easily get that information on a guest if you do the Ocean account. If you go to the Ocean activity, this one has play history, history, dynamic tab, and reinvestment, things like that. This also has the W2G tab so that you guys can enroll patrons in that consolidated W2G so that they can self-service their jackpots. You would do that through the W2G tab on the ocean activity form. You would have to come here and select consolidated W2G and then put in their first and second ID and check these 3 boxes. Yes, Ocean Makers. Yeah.
Ocean, when we go live, it's gonna say W2G.
So this is under the ocean activity form. I'm not sure who handles turning on the W2G or the fat quick pay or what, I'm not sure what you call it here. But you would come into here, bring up the patron, put in first and second ID and check the 3 boxes and that will activate it for their account. And typically it stays active for 365 days before needing to be removed. It's the default. I'm not sure what you have it set to. So that's the most important tab probably on this one. The other ones are nice too. Dynamic tab, you can set up so that you can see coin in, table gameplay, and you can see it for last trip, 5 trips ago. This is all customizable. Your IT team or our implementation specialist will be doing that. The e-marker tab will show them all of their e-marker balance information. They can see their markers, front money, safekeeping. All the marker information, the markers that were issued will be here. The upper right-hand corner has the actual balances, current balance, available credit. And that's an ocean activity on e-marker. But all of those markers will be issued through the e-marker application. That just gets pushed to Synkros so you can read it. You can't actually do any issuing or create any credit accounts through Synkros for e-marker. I think this is the attendants have access to this too, all these forms, which is up to you to decide if you want to keep it that way. But you can adjust all that.
Are they changing our e-marker tablet, is it staying the same?
That should all be the same and should be seamless in how it interfaces with Synkros. So history is a player history form, which I'll show you guys after the break. And then the last form that your SWAT attendants have is the Ocean Transact. I'm not actually sure if they have this one, but this would allow them to issue comps to players. So this might be shift supervisors and above, actually. Ocean Transact. So this one, you see the patron information, and then you have flex comp issue was to issue flexible comps. You have voucher status to see what comps they have on their account. The points tab would allow you to, actually, this is probably supervisors and above. It allows you to, yeah, never mind, okay. Yeah, exactly. So then, what we've completed was all the access that the slot attendants have, and they can be dismissed if they want, and then we can kind of go through this after the break. We don't really have a ton more for you guys. So we have probably another 30 minutes or so. I don't know if you want to do a break or just do the last of it and then call it. But they can go if they're not going to be issuing comps. Any questions, guys? And we'll be here with you. Multiple people will be on the floor to go through the process with you for the next like 10 days or after go live. We're gonna be here for a while.
You attend the executive go live?
I think so. Extended support. Yeah, if you have any questions, like, feel free to ask them if you've ever seen anybody in the county or whatever, or somebody playing clothes that you don't recognize, probably Konami or a vendor, ask us any questions you have.
Go to court and get that on.
Yeah, no, that's where I got these from. I finished this myself, got the sewing machine out. And then we can go through the player history, point management, like issuing free play and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
Any question? Anything?
Anything, literally anything. Yeah.
Clean that list, point in, point out.
Point in, point out.
You gotta say,
break and go up, or should we go off?
take a break and go.
Yeah, take a break and then go.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you guys. Thanks for coming a little early. I hope.
Thank you.
It's not that you can.
Yes, this is what we're speaking.
yes, yes. Hopefully you took some notes. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us.
Does the kind of make sense?
Yes.
I think you guys will be fine with slot attendants and doing these jackpots.
Yeah.
So it's, you know,
Yeah,
there's still
sure.
more detail on our end, but
We'll get
as
it.
far as you guys, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll get it. When you're doing it, you're.
I don't think you.
How about you,
Does anybody just want to take 5 minutes to grab a water or quick stretch their legs? What's that? No. Yeah. It's 5 minutes. Okay. I just need to drink a little water. I just need a minute.
You need to break. You need to break. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the vacuum.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure. Don't understand, guys. You don't understand. It's a kid.
He's got, jet lag.
Well, this is their case of success.
Where'd you come from?
Yeah, but we got it.
So it's super early for you then.
Hi, Doug, but I've been here for a couple of days.
Like my Justin.
Yeah. And then, whatchamacallit? I have small children, so I'm just being woken up like multiple times tonight, and then I'm. Sleeping day, so I said, very,
So you're gonna come from now? You got.
yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is great. Don't tell them, I miss them. Yeah, but I should relax, so I can see the beach.
This is like a vacation.
It is.
You got the teacher class now and then one later on this afternoon?
Yeah, the drop and count one, and then tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. We're good. Okay.
Yeah, there's gotta be, we were trying to go over this reports, it's gotta be easier.
Right. Okay.
That is our main concern, and also doing, you know,
This scenario we get all the time.
Right.
We deal with a lot of older people.
Yeah.
I lost my senior
Lost it.
with, $300 and some dollars.
Yeah.
I don't know where I lost it.
Right.
That's what we got. And where did you get it printed from?
Yeah.
Remember?
They don't remember that?
No, no.
Oh. We can look at player history and see where they carded in at, and now we know the answer.
But they didn't use a card. Okay, here.
Yeah.
For, dollars,
Yeah.
we can put it in a time period.
Yeah.
Like an hour, 2 hours.
Right.
We don't want to do the whole day because.
Right, of course.
It's forever.
$1 million voucher.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll do that, narrow it down, and sort it by the amount. See which ones don't have cards attached to it.
Right. And look at
Narrow
that.
it down that way. That's the way we do it now.
Oh, that's brutal.
We can do it unless it's 5 minutes,
Really?
unless the 5 minutes is paid or not also.
And then it'll tell you if it was paid or not
We keep the
too.
last 4 digits, the,
Oh,
code.
yeah, the
We get the
validation.
amount,
Yeah,
get the date, the asset number. That's what we need. We need that
Right.
information. Punch it into the UK system. It
yeah.
tells us if it was redeemed or not redeemed, if there was redeemed, or was redeemed back by who.
Right.
That's what we want. That's what we're asking for.
Okay.
after that,
Yeah.
after that, we want a nice, clean end list
That's just.
with point in and point out.
Oh, Okay,
So I can show you the part you said.
yeah.
Know what we want.
This is great. All right. What do you point out?
Point in, point out.
What you point out, clean that list, everything on.
Clean M list?
Yeah, machine list.
Machine list.
Machine event history.
Oh, machine event history.
Yeah.
For each machine, and it tells you, what does it tell you on that?
Yeah. For why we doing this with lot? Yeah. I can send it to you. Yeah, absolutely. This is the one we can wear. Okay, get you. I like to see, I can do this by time, show it, so I can do this, just search it, it's like, they full video that, I like that, I recommend it, the stuff you could. Oh, yeah, so right, this is a big time for it. This is, well, I'm not, when you run into one machine, I want to, yeah, because if I do the whole floor, it takes forever to run on it. It crashes the system. Yeah. So, what actually doesn't know where they're at. Each one of the bank codes? Yeah. I can just put one of the bank code in there and that way also. Yeah, or, I can do it for the whole floor. Okay, so this, I'm looking for a ticket. I can take a print. That code there? I'll put that code in and remember this whole. Right. For like a 10-hour period. And that's how you just, yeah, that's how I found out what the ticket is. West Paris. Let's see what we would do. We have them for it. And when this ticket failed, right, so it may be, where did the validation? Right there. Oh, wow. Now. Yeah. Or did the validation? Yeah. And then it's supposed to be also no more than the same one. That's the number right here. Over here. I go through this right there. Sure. The next report. Yeah. That's you guys need that. Right to the fall. Right. That's it. Busy day. 950.
You guys issue comps, issue a lot of comps.
Yeah. It's like time we do, if somebody's playing in our, in there, they want to, top shelf lid.
Right, yeah, we don't do a lot of comps. Yeah, because they would just swipe their card and take the comp dollars or comp dollars. It's pretty helpful if I'm discretionary. No. Yeah, everything's done with the system. Yeah.
Yeah, not a
You don't have to do like a bunch of gas recovery and that. It's like, we usually do it with FREEPLAY. Gotcha. Yeah, so you do it, we do it, FREEPLAY. We found it's very easy in here. Yes. Yeah. Just put the dollar amount. And then slot range.
Yeah.
Pop off all the guests that are in that area, so we can see the spike in the code.
Right. So we should talk about that real quick then. Player history, which is available in Ocean Activity, but it has its own form. This is what you would use if you wanted to find a patron or see all of your patrons that are currently on the floor with open ratings. If you go to player history and then in the upper left-hand corner just below, it defaults for you guys to show you all the patrons, but you can single out and look at a single patron if you wanted to. Yeah, player history, and that is in player tracking, player history. Yeah. Player history. Patron tracking, player history. It's also on your custom form, the Ocean Activity custom form. It's a tab on there. And this one, it's defaulted to all. But if you select current open ratings, now and then you go to slot ratings and uncarded or automatically checked by default for you. So if you want to see table games players, you could by selecting table games players, but then you hit the process query button here and it's going to show you all the open ratings on your floor right now. And you can then sort by the individual column headers. You can sort by cash in. That cash in is your actual coin in for that rating. So you can see, okay, these people are in this amount. I'm going to hit the process query button. Again, this is your training environment, so there's not going to be a current open rating there, but it would pop up. I can do ratings for the last couple months because you guys. Right. Right. And you'll see the uncarded rating for that slot asset for that particular time. What you would do you see how we have the from and to? You can select on the from and to tiles there to get that 2 hour time frame or window to see all the ratings on your slot machines. And you can also, on the right-hand side, you have the ability to select the zones and banks. So you could go down to just see that zone and bank that they were supposedly on, and then you can see all the ratings that were on there for that 2 hours. Yeah, you select the tile, and then when I clicked on that tile there on the from, you have the literal time that you could set if you would like, so that you could say, okay, from noon to 2 p.m. and that started at noon and go to 2 p.m.
You need that in all your reports.
Right, right. I will let them know. You can filter the columns. So if you are looking at your entire floor, you can see the people with over $10,000 coin in if you want, or you could see people that are losing more than $5,000 and winning more than $5,000. You can sort that way by creating filters on the individual column. So if you wanted to look at, I think there's win-loss on here. Win-loss, if you right-click on that column header, you would then turn on the filter by toggling the filter. Now you have to click on the little martini icon to create that filter. You would say custom, and then you would say greater than, and this is where you could put like 5,000, select the or, and then you would say less than, and you could put the minus 5,000. And then when you hit OK, it would filter out all of the people in between, and it would only show you your winners of over 5,000 and your losers of over 5,000. Right, so you could do, correct, you could do that to sort that. And it might give you more than 10 results. That could also be a custom query you create through the floor graphics form, the CPU. Right. You and that pesky copy and paste.
But you can export that too.
Yeah, yeah, that's coming. That's a future enhancement. Yeah. Sure, sure. There is a top players report.
Yeah, let's try to find it again.
Yeah, you can just run that report. There is a top players report. Yeah.
Yeah, just, I tried that and it wouldn't come up. Huh?
The top players. Then you just need IT to give you access to that report if you don't currently have it. But there is one. Yeah, you, for whatever reason, your role currently configured in the trading instance only has access to one report. But I assume when you go live, you'll have access to a lot more than just one report. To run a report, you click preview and run in that order. Have you guys worked with this at all?
Yeah.
And that's when you get the parameters window, and then you would put in that date range you're looking for, or asset number, or patron ID to run a report. And then you would click the process reports button. So let's talk about, you guys aren't going to be using the point management, but let me just show to you super quickly. You would bring up a patron, Control F. Like I told Nick, you can favorite patrons, or you can bring up a patron that you've already brought up on that same session by clicking the little star in the center. You can also favorite forms if you needed to by clicking the star in the upper right, right next to where the help doc is. Is everybody familiar with getting to the help docs? By just clicking the help button on the form that you're on, and it'll bring up a web-based help doc. So in this case, you could favorite a patron, or your recent patrons will show up here. But I just logged out and logged back in. We'll do Alexander again. We'll do me. Pretty easy. If you want to add points, you click on this one. If you want to subtract, you do the below that. This one's point management. If you guys are doing that, these would be, you're not doing that? Okay. Okay, well, we'll skip that one then. You are doing manual free play though, correct? Okay. So manual free play. Easy. Alexander, now, so you can either type in free in the search, or it's under marketing. So it's up here, manual free play. Everybody see it? You're gonna select non-cashable. It's the only promo type you can give out. The amount, this is the dollar amount you are giving the guest. Days valid, 0 would be till midnight today. 1 day valid would be 24 hours from when you issue it. 2 days would be 48 hours from the time you issue it. And then, so we'll just say 1 day, reason for training. I then hit process. We'll see voucher issued, and it's gonna clear me from the form, so ideally you don't issue multiple vouchers to the same person wondering if you'd issue them that voucher. So it is designed to clear that patron from the form after you issue them the free play. Any questions on that? To avoid the void, but in case you did have to type in void, it's also in marketing, it's void promotional awards. You could void free play issued. Netto's there. He's got 2 of them. If we wanted to void one of them, we just click on it and select void award. Put in a reason. Okay. That's voiding. You guys say you don't do much with comp issue at all? No, so just skip that one for me. You want to see it? Okay, so that's patron tracking flex comp issue. If you need to do a cocktail comp, you could find your patron or your patron follows you. This is flex comp issue under patron tracking. You go to the first, make sure the patron's there. You can see their comp point balance. You go to the item, and this is where you can do the drop down, whether it's a drink comp, you select that, or a secret comp. You got the list. You can do whatever you want. From here, quantity, if it's 1, you could issue multiple of that same comp if you wanted to. You can put in a custom value. It's a flex comp, meaning you can put in whatever value you want for it, as long as they have the points available to be deducted from their point balance, their comp point balance, or comp dollar balance. This is the comp dollar bucket. You can by using do not deduct points. If you have access to do not deduct points, it will do that. So if I did $25 for that drink, and it said it was supposed to take 2,500 points, you see the total points used on the left-hand side? 2,500. But now I click the do not deduct points checkbox at the bottom of the form, and now it's taking 0 points. And it'll issue that comp for a 0 point cost to the guest. But yeah, it'll be on their account. You won't have to print it out. You'll hit process.
Send it, right?
Do not use the auto redeem button because that would issue it and then draw it down. Auto redeem is if you're giving them physical merchandise, like a sweater, and so you've handed it to them, you want it to auto redeem, so you don't have to go and redeem it yourself. So that's what this, so for all your drink comps and stuff like that, don't auto redeem unless, you know, it is a drink they literally pour and then they don't still need the comp on their account. Print receipt would be to print a paper voucher, but with all our comps, it's stored on their account electronically. You'll find it in the system. You don't need to print a paper voucher unless you guys need it for whatever reason to give to audit or turn in somewhere. So that, right,
You just leave that on check.
correct.
If you don't want if you do want, whatever.
If you don't want points deducted, check the box.
Okay.
If you want points deducted, leave it
Leave
unchecked.
it on check. So
Yeah,
don't hit the auto redeem. That's not
Yeah,
different.
that's totally different. Right, that's if you're giving them the physical merchandise or you've given them the drink already, and so you don't want it on their account still because they've already gotten what you're giving them. But if this were like a comp to your steakhouse and you auto redeemed it, when they go to check their account through the point of sale, it wouldn't be there because it was auto redeemed. So that's why auto redeem is for just like physical merchandise.
Like, wait, just gets a receipt,
Right,
right? Or it prints at the bar where they're getting the alcohol.
right.
That gonna affect that, depending on us to.
Then maybe you do auto redeem so that you had it on their account and you can see it. But do you want a receipt to print to give to the cocktail waitress? So she then
Well,
gets,
she
So maybe you print receipt then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Ideally, you have a printer connected to your workstation.
Be a question. As soon as we print it, it deducts it from their account.
It would deduct the points, but the thing would be, the comp would be on there. And then hopefully from the point of sale machine at the bar, they could redeem the comp when paying for the drink
Okay, that's.
through the point of sale machine. Yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna say, well,
right,
But
right,
if
right.
it's a.
Premium.
They have the comp,
Yeah, right,
then we would need to give them a receipt.
Right. right.
Yeah.
At the bar.
So it should be on, I don't know then if through the point of sale machine at the bar, through Agilicis or Infogenesis, they can bring up the patron's account and then pay for it with the comp on the patron's account through their point of sale machine. Because it's been electronically issued. So they may need the patron card to swipe it at the point of sale machine. Or yeah, right down the patron.
And then you don't even do it. EBS person picked it up, I wasn't buying it, they wanted nothing free. Well, I'm just getting that one free.
So the next form, guys, if there are no questions on this, it's gonna be employee card reprint, pretty quick one, that's employee card reprint. Yeah, human resources, employee card reprint. You would just bring up the employee through the find, then you would go to the card tab, and then ideally hit the reprint button. And these other drop-down options, like card status, card type, that would be employee status is active. And you would set the PIN based on whatever they wanted. But the card access is based on role, not on anything you set here. It's based on their role within the system as a slot attendant. It will only have the whatever 4 buttons show up that you've given them access to. But so ideally you would come here, you'd find your employee and you'd hit the reprint button and you'd be off and running. Now we get to the good stuff, which is our slot maintenance form and floor graphics. Have you guys all seen floor graphics? No? Okay, let me bring that up. It doesn't look very great here, but this would have all your slot machines and a map of your casino floor, and you would be able to then run custom queries here. So on the right-hand side, we have our buttons. If a slot machine were available, you'd be able to right-click on it and then access the micro reports, which you would use to then do investigating if you knew what asset you wanted to look at. So ideally, these would all be here. Let me show you the help doc. Everybody know where the help button is. This is useful. Every form except for your custom patron forms have a help doc. Sure. Can we stop? So it looks something like this, except it would look like your casino floor. Floor graphics is under slot accounting. You'd be able to right click on an asset and it would bring you a drop down of all the micro reports available and those sorts of things. This is the form. One of you may have access to actually putting all the slot machines on this form. So whoever do that, you would simply right click and then you see that one of the options is add device or add bank. You'd have to add every bank and get those put on the floor, get them lined up. We can add a device initially. So I put 2 slot machines on the floor. Initially, what gets uploaded is a picture of your floor with the bar here, bathroom here, those sort of inanimate objects. And then we have to put the slot machines on bank by bank that are in. Yeah, then make sure to hit save.
Yes.
After you put your 1,850 machines, after you do your 1,850 machines, hit save. But you can zoom in with the plugs here. Now, if you need to drag around, the third one from the top, I've made into a pointy finger. So this allows me to recenter the floor. I can zoom in again below the pointy finger. So now if I right click on this machine, I get show EGM details, today's net win. The micro reports are what we typically like to go over. Now here we want to do device transaction history with Bill, but we have device meters, daily meters, device exception history. I did that by, let me close this, by right clicking on the machine.
Okay.
And then the bottom one is EGM machine micro report. Right, or you can use this to get to the device transaction history bill to see like, to find a voucher on a game. It was printed for a voucher amount as well. Both places, same set of micro reports. So slot maintenance may be the easier way to get to it. If you know the asset number already,
Yeah.
you can do that. But this will ideally match up with your floor. So if a patron says I was over there on the middle machine and you don't happen to remember the asset number and you don't want to walk over there, you can like then go to the actual picture. This floor is so big.
They will.
They're gonna walk over there. Sure. There is a machine listing report. It's literally called the machine listing report.
And that I did want to find because I found something similar, but I feel like it's not enough. Or I
Okay,
feel
not
like
enough
maybe I-
information.
For me,
Right.
maybe I need to look at it completely.
Right.
The only thing I have a question.
The cool thing is when you do go to the help docs, the reports have help docs too. I don't know if you've seen that, and it has a list of every available report in the system, and it has a hyperlink to a sample of the report with sample data in it. So
It's not showing me the location.
oh, like bank and stand. It is in there. I had to do that at another property. And I need to log in with the admin because those reports weren't assigned to this role yet. I can do that afterwards and then show you that. So the micro report, this is where you go. The micro report that I was telling you about that's the most useful or seems to be the most useful is this device transaction HIS, short for history, with bill. And that tells you 24 hours, yeah, because you don't want 7 days. It's just a lot more information.
I said Daisy notes,
Yeah.
Daisy Loker.
Device transaction with bill.
Your device transaction HIS, HIS, history with bill.
More records. All right. I don't need to call it.
Or you can get it from slot maintenance. You can get all the micro reports for an asset through slot maintenance.
Right.
So on here, we'll show you bills in as well. These were all the jackpots we processed on the slot machines that we just did like 2 hours ago.
Which machine?
Are you on 7,028?
Oh, 28, no, I'm looking at that one.
Are you on 29?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
Okay.
29, so there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But this is where you would go if you knew the asset number to find the voucher dollar amount. Hopefully they know the machine they were playing on when they come to you, having said they lost that voucher.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Then if we had a clean end list with the times where you can break.
Oh, yes. I love that. The M-list, dude. I had a dream about that last night. Yeah.
Date time, you can actually.
Yeah, date and time, transaction codes. Right.
Add a column to the micro report that
Right.
shows you where the ticket was redeemed.
Really? Yeah.
So-
Because all these micro reports are custom SQL queries. So theoretically, a solutions engineer can create a new micro report specifically for this property to be included and add a column to that query. You know, to return an extra column of data theoretically.
So that would actually
We would need to talk to Antonio about that and have him get the solutions. He
He
comes Tuesday, maybe? I know Terrence comes tonight. I just don't know if Antonio's flying out tonight also. But, or even Terrence, I'll let him know, or I'll write down a note. So you needed where a ticket was redeemed at? Right.
So we know when but
Right.
it would be deemed and where,
To show where redeemed.
which that would help us out. We wouldn't have to run all these other reports. We could just go to that asset number and with an end list and say,
Yeah.
here you go, this is where it was printed.
That'd be great.
Okay, micro report. I will, I'll do that, because I know we've done that in the past. No, we've done that in the past. Yeah, so, and it's query, it's just a query that they run.
Yeah, that would actually help us a lot,
Yeah.
instead of having to keep running the redundant.
So 4 different reports to try and find it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right now, we have to start with the voucher. If it's not on the voucher search tab.
Yeah, then you have to go voucher redemption. Yes. Voucher history to see where then, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
See, time is money, friend. I get that. But you have about, what, 2 minutes before somebody redeems a lost voucher, if that? I mean, they, those things don't stay unredeemed for long, in my experience. Okay, so that's for graphics. So whomever is going to be creating this, we can help Joe. You can also use this to find guests. So the silhouette here, this, if you type in the guest first and last name, it'll take you straight to the asset they're on or straight to the table game. So that's the missing person silhouette thing. Click on that. It brings this pop up. You can use the % in here when you're typing in Alex or what, and then hit the find button. And it will take you literally zoomed in, magnified straight to the asset that they're on, or table game if they're at a table game. So husband looking for wife or vice versa. You can use for graphics instead of player history. Player history, you can also do it with the current open rating and then looking, but this will find any rating table or slot. You can also find an asset. So I'm going to X out. You can also find the asset by clicking on the icon with the cherry. Everybody see that? That's for asset. So if you know the asset number, it'll take you to the asset on your floor graphics form. So if I put in 7,029 under asset number, or if you want to look for a particular zone or bank, you can by doing the zone and bank drop downs, and I hit find. It literally takes you straight to the asset zoomed in. It would do the same thing for a patron. When you find that patron, it like takes you, you're like, ah, because right, exactly. If there's a patron on there, you can right click and then you can bring up the patron detail and it'll show the photo of their license through floor graphics. By the way. Yeah, no, I got you. No, it isn't. I know you were making a joke and it was a good joke, but I'm like, hey, actually you can kind of do a little bit of that. Oh yeah, the ID you can see through the images tab on any of those patron accounts that have the images tab. It'll show you a picture of the entire driver's license, their signature will be a separate picture, and then just their face will be a separate picture when you scan them in through the patron website. That's for graphics. You can also do custom queries. So if you then go back to the mouse. Yeah, that's the whole floor. This is really nice. The custom queries, the magnifying glass is how you get to it. It's unique for each user that has access. Again, only the slot director currently has access to this form, so I don't know if you want it to be Supervisors Plus or whatnot. We'll have to figure that out. Right,
So, but, yeah, we got pending jackpots, we want all the
yeah.
pending totals.
So this one, I selected pending jackpot and the color was red, so now that game is in red. So you know there's a pending jackpot on it.
Well, if I bring up the, rank, anything in red is pending jackpot.
For yours, but what we want to do, right click on any blank space and then click the toggle legend feature. So it brings up our legend and we know what those colors mean now. But you can change the color if you want. If you want to see pending jackpots as green or blue, you can do that for your user and your login. If you want to see carded and uncarded players, you can do that too. And you can fully adjust which colors you want to use.
Just have total players, like total people playing.
You can do that. You can do a custom query for that. We have a property that has total carded and uncarded players as a custom query that they run through Floor Graphics and they write that data down hourly and whatnot. So if you wanted that custom query, you can definitely get that added to this form. But so like,
Yeah, pending jackpots.
now, if you hit view detail on that pending jackpot or whatever, it tells you all of the jackpots that you have available or all the jackpots that are pending. You see 50, 1200, 1350, 2000. And so uncarded players, it would tell you the device numbers that they were at as well, but you'd be able to see them. Are you having a problem, Daisy?
It's F box, right?
Just slot. Just slot.
Okay, that's why we're trying to get sure.
No, yeah, slots with an S in it.
The training in my lab.
Yes, I noticed that you did have an S slot.
Open table, please.
Thank you very
Another
much.
number.
Thank you.
All your tables. That's pretty cool.
Any questions? Any questions on this?
Is this the, customized,
Yeah.
like top 10 jackpot?
Yeah, if you know SQL, you can write the query for it.
Site.
Yes,
Can you customize that? I'm sorry.
you can if you know SQL, you write the SQL code.
For what?
Yeah.
Are we gonna know the those?
Are you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm asking you.
I'm not sure.
I'm sure it'd be like he would do that.
Yeah, exactly. You'd say, hey, can you write this SQL query for us through the
Customize.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We can make an actual requirements.
Yeah, you could, yeah, that's what I dreamt at least. I don't know if it's gonna be a reality, but for sure.
Basically, 8, 9.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We currently set out base to the management, point in revenue, et cetera. You do it at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, it's exactly this
Point in.
point in revenue.
There's a slot win report that has a lot of that on it.
Is that the 2-time ticker?
A true time ticker? No, it's a separate report. You have like 0 reports on here, so I can log in as the admin and show you that. Hold on.
You call it 3 o'clock in the morning, but wants to know what the coin in and the coin out.
Right. You can,
there.
you can see some of that through play history as well. It'll give you the totals of your coin in and whatnot. But it includes people. So, but it's like a decent estimate from if you just run player history for that. But hold on, let me. Yeah, there's your. Hold on, let me reports. Right, that's the unfortunate thing.
If they're not on it, can we still type something in? Will it pop up or not?
No, if you don't have access, then you can't run it.
Stop.
So you would run like for today's date, the slot win detail report. Yeah, I need to give you access to it. Let me close it actually. And let's pull up the help doc. So you do have access to one report, and from that report, you can click on the blue question mark, and it'll bring up the help doc, and then this is how you see all the reports in the system, and you can see samples of them. So we have slot win detail report, slot win with electronic promo, and then advanced incentives. We have slot win without EPR, which may be something you guys might want. So the free play is not included. And that win report, and like, it tells you the thing, and then here's the sample of that report. And it'll tell you, it gives you total drop, payouts, net win, which is total drop minus payouts, minus fills, which is gonna be 0 because you don't have any coin machines that you're filling. And so you have these columns here, period, coin in, actual cash voucher drop, coin drop, total drop, payments. If you can get a copy of the report you currently have, then we can cross-reference this with what we have to see that. Can I sign on to the dev environment?
For the people.
Okay, you have access to the dev
I'm
environment.
waiting
there.
to see if it pops up here.
Okay. The lab, I don't know if they put lab on this laptop. I don't have lab on my laptop. Yeah.
This will probably be the report you run in the morning. That, the slot win report.
Hey, so I was looking on dashboard, when I do it, when I set it out at 6 in the morning? No. You talking about uses?
Yeah, release this.
All right, here we go.
Well, here's out the estimate first thing in the morning. Before counting to do that.
Still, I guess we, so you have to do it, there's a thing on there, it says slot win for the day. Yeah, you have to run it from before 6 o'clock. To give you the.
So Ted, if you wanna go through with him, all the reports that you wanna look at are here. If you sign up.
In the dev environment.
Look at the slot win report, I think.
We have slot win detail report, slot win with the ADB/EPR. Which one are you looking
Are
for?
you looking at the detail report, right, Joe? Yeah, detail.
The slot win detail report?
You wouldn't even need detail. You wouldn't need detail, you just need those.
So which one? There's 3. Slot win with or without the ADB?
But with free play.
With free
So
play.
with free play? And what date? Gonna run it for the 28th when we did that test?
Yeah.
When you run a report for a single day and there are 2 fields, put the stage date in both fields.
You don't rush right.
Bless you.
So you can run that anytime during the day, it'll give you the time you want it.
Right.
I got report return no data. Should have that on it.
From yesterday? From
You
your,
hear that, Ted?
did they not test
You
on?
can run this at like 3 o'clock,
I did.
whatever time you run it, gives you those numbers.
That's on the 28th.
Current numbers, not by the hour.
Sure what?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. If there's a problem, we need to get it fixed ASAP. I know. But I mean, if there were a problem, we would want to know. The last form you guys have access to is slot maintenance. Yeah. Right. This is the form you would use where you look up an asset and then you can get to those micro reports instead of using core graphics and right clicking on an asset. It's in asset management slot maintenance. It should be like the first tile you have access to. And it comes up here. This will be blank. You guys may only have view only access, which is fine. You'd want to find your machine. That would be 7028. It brings up your machine, it brings up the zone and bank, and then you would just go to the micro reports tab on the far right, and then you get the drop down of all the micro reports that we have, that device transaction history with Bill.
You didn't put the machine in Did we give you the whole floor?
No,
No,
they'll give you nothing,
nothing?
nothing.
You want to get the whole floor?
The whole floor?
Yeah, good.
Oh, man. To see, yeah, to see everything on the floor forever and ever. Yeah. Are you looking for just vouchers
Yeah.
or just vouchers? You'd probably do the voucher redemption or voucher unredeemed report. And that'll show you the whole floor. So from here, these are the same micro reports you had access to through 4Graphics. Pretty much the super important one is that device transaction, HIS, HIS, short for history with bill, 24 hours. Yeah, under micro report.
Is there any other report on here that we could see, just in case we don't know the 4-digit number of the ticket and the guest doesn't really know what game it is, or it's between, sort of, if we have 3 games, we can.
You would have to then look at the vouchers, either redeemed or unredeemed report, and run those reports. So you would go to reports. In that case, you would go to reports, which is the global toolbar at the top there. And yeah, there is a vouchers. Yeah, there's vouchers redeemed or unredeemed. You'd hope it'd be under unredeemed. You click on it, you would do the gaming date, and then you would probably want to then narrow it down by bank or zone. You could do zone. I believe this is zone. Yeah, you could do zone. That's what we got. You could do vouchers in out for an asset number, right? So if you go to the vouchers in out report, if you have the asset number, you can look at just that asset for the day.
Yeah, the other one,
Yeah.
showing it to you, right?
The one that we cannot see is like right now, we can see if a player still, whether the ticket went into the machine,
Right.
if somebody's playing
Right,
with that ticket.
right.
But when we run this system, it tells you when the ticket was cashed out, when the ticket, but when the ticket was like redeemed, but it doesn't tell you if the ticket is actively. So,
It's actually better to run the voucher history report. Because this one, it looks like this report is a 2-step process. It's voucher in and where it came out from. So if they insert it into another machine, it kind of leaves it in limbo. So I would do the voucher history, and I think that.
But that one, you need the full 16-digit number.
validation number.
Yeah.
Which you can get.
Redemption report, correct. It's only like 6 steps, guys.
That's what
Nice.
It's a lot more than what we already
it's
have.
number. The history report shows you everywhere it went, just that one ticket.
First of all, you gotta find the ticket, because I don't know where it came from, I don't know the name of the ticket.
Plus at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's 10,000 tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we try to run it like that, but it shows you the history report of that ticket. But if the
Yeah.
person went like from this machine and then they use it in another one, they cash out, because normally
They watch it.
then they watch it and they went to another one. Okay, so now you have to track this ticket,
yeah.
then you have to.
That's when you do the voucher history. You need to
Voucher
know
history.
one ticket or more.
If you have the 6-digit number to the original ticket,
Yeah.
it'll follow the history of that ticket.
Just that one. But once it comes out of the next machine, it doesn't.
Look at the report, I think the report.
I think it just shows,
60-digit
they'll
number.
give you the new ticket and then
And then you
it's finally cashed out of the kiosk.
So you keep following the tickets instead of the machine.
And a week later.
No, it's all super fast. Super fast.
Clean machine list.
Clean machine list. That might be the machine,
Your next session will be like this.
Right. Yeah, I realize that, so, cool. But the machine, the machine listing report has assets, numbers, and zone bank. The what? When are the,
Technicians there.
that's later? Are they, which class are they going to? Are they going to SOT asset management? Because that's the, okay, I guess it'll be two-part then, because that's kind of like how you create an asset, an essence, or to move an asset. and all that stuff. Okay, yeah,
B, that's where I thought I found the machine list.
there is the machine listing report. That is under, slots. That's under SOT accounting, the machine listing report is under SOT accounting. And then you have your machine online status report. Yeah. So it is, if you need it, so you don't have access to that report? Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Should be here from machine. So, yeah, machine was yeah. And you have a machine online status, you have a machine performance ranking. They're all over it.
So what you would just leave it blank?
Yeah.
And it'll give you everything on the floor.
Right, and you could do a calendar day after if you wanted to.
Is it gonna take forever to think?
It is, that's your project.
So you should do it safe then. You go easy from this time, here,
So then,
here.
one that I was looking at was under asset management.
Right.
And it's under slot maintenance, the game tab, what exactly is
I
that?
get all the indexes per individual machine, that's.
So we wouldn't look at that since the locate the slot machine.
No, because that just tells you the individual themes like, Great Pyramids or the Buffaloes, whatever, and it has like game volume.
How come I can't see? Is it just this terminal?
With that, you guys are gonna do, yeah, click to one page, and then go on to.
That's
Scroll.
Keep that Jeremy guy.
So that's would be a machine that's here, but we can't sort it. So if I was looking for something.
You would have to say that it's CSV.
CVS.
Target, and then open it.
Was that furnace? That's the ballgame. You're the wrong person. How do you actually?
So that's all the access and reports and stuff I have for you guys today. But if you have more questions or anything, just come find us. We'll be here for the next like 7 minutes. Oh, to know to do an e-drop?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me write that one down. Another property just asked for that too, and I don't, whatever. Yeah, they talked about the stackers.
To see what we need to pull.
Yeah, which boxes?
The only thing that's something that says like hot, cold, but that's.
That's for the can.
No,
yeah.
So that would be it.
No, that would just say that if that can were in a machine or if it were out of a machine, would be hot and cold. So cash box full report.
Sorry for you.
That needs to be replaced, we can go in and do emergency. monitoring.
Right.
But in this system, we can't find anything that.
Okay, I got that written down for you. Let me find out what we're doing in the property, because they asked the exact.
Yeah,
thing.
it's something that's gonna show like notes.
Right,
Last.
Which my question.
yeah, you can see like how much cash is in there, but, nothing that just says like, warning, like this cash has so many days to be vouchers.
Somebody,
Mm,
we're gonna say, can't reach a box. Yeah.
right.
How many head count? You have something like that?
That would be a custom, that you could do through 4Graphics. For carded and uncarded players, you can do a custom query for them. By month, you have your attendant pays bills report. Let me check. Okay. Attendant pays bills report.
So you leave.
You can run it for a date range. You could do it for an entire month. Yeah. Zero, there's drop has 0 coin in, but so,
Zero bill and 0.8.
0 bill, 0 coin in. I think so, but I need to double check. I need to verify which report that is. Right, 0 bill, 0 coin in, 0 voucher. Bill, coin in.
Also the, what a report on the PIN numbers.
On pin
PIN
numbers?
number resets or,
We do have a pin reset report. For patrons? Yeah, for assets.
Yeah, trying to understand which,
service with his number correct.
So like,
They go out in calibration.
calibrated.
oh, the actual like true time display screen?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So
We run that also.
a report to calibrate the true time displays. Is that the M? Report to determine if TTD is bad. Okay. Yeah. Is bad or needs recalibration. I haven't really heard much about requiring recalibration, to be honest with you, but look at you. Yeah. I know if you put the card in twice, it'll recalibrate, but I've never seen it needed. Yeah. Your employee card.
How is the system of lightning strikes or power surges?
Great.
Go out and come back?
Oh, I don't think, we say 99.99. Does the entire power go out in the building on a lightning strike or?
Or say a surge?
So take to reboot the true time.
The true time is like 5 minutes, like if you manually reset. So if power goes out, it's probably like 5 minutes. The poker machine? Yeah.
No, I mean, that's gonna be, you know, meetings.
What was the last one then? M-list. Clean it. Yeah, please do.
You see everything on?
Everything. I'll write that down. You
No,
can see it with you.
it shows the 4-digit validation number when it gets printed out, so you can track it fast.
For vouchers.
Yes. And point in and point it out.
I'll print it out and show it before then. Okay.
All right, guys. If that is all, I'll stop the recording.
Awesome, that's it.
No, you don't have to leave. I just need to eat lunch. You guys can stay here and then. Sure.
This is the one. In the IRB lab, but these are all numbers.
Yeah, that's how master proms typically runs.
So how, if a guest is asking, let's say I want to play
Buffalo's machine.
dinosaur, the buffalo, where do we find them?
Um,
Because that's the list that I was asking.
oh, you want the actual game name?
Yeah, because I was saying, if there's something that,
Then what's the way to do that? To
right,
get us to where on the floor that particular theme of game is regular time.
that's why I can get that over the asset managers.
Right. No, in asset management, there isn't like a theme search. You know, like, you pull it up, maybe three, and I'll say, oh, range. It's attached. You may have to use the ad hoc reporting tool or Coinbase to do that. But let me find out, Fred, let me write that down.
Yeah, because that's one of the things we get a lot of questions that they'll come.
Yeah.
Say, hey, do you have the wizard of